First on the play by Prevalent. Got it, receiver downfield. That's pulled the
If he has good technique, he will be elite. If his technique becomes great, not just good, then he's a Hall of Fame.
going down again. It's Q. Red Williams.
Fighting through contact, fighting through offensive line, being a double team, multiple moves stacked into one, just a play of pure domination. This is actual film, this is actual football talk. It's a football show, we're supposed to talk football, not storylines.
And you are watching, listening to another edition of Blitz Live with my good friend Kyle Smith. Kyle, I was planning on, I was going to do it. I was going to shut the intro off from my camera, and I was going to surprise you, but I didn't feel like the effort, putting the effort into cutting holes in a brown paper bag and putting it over my head to start the stream. I was really thinking of doing it, but I just don't have the energy. So with that being said, what is up?
That would have been a nice touch. That would have got me laughing for sure. Yeah. What's up is just more misery and pain. And sorry. So here's the deal. Like me, pretty much, I got to be in the top 1% of people that have been just rooting for Tank for the past however many seasons. Like I rooted for Tank in the 2017 season. I remember watching the Broncos game with you. We were rooting for the Tank. I mean, like from week 1 of that year, I literally, before they even played a game, was rooting for the Tank. Really early on last season, I was rooting for the Tank. Well, I'm tired of fucking tanking. I want to fucking win football games now. And I could understand things maybe for the first couple weeks. All right, it's a new coaching staff, kind of just, getting their bearings. It's a young rookie quarterback. But what we saw this past Sunday was just a fucking embarrassment. And I can't remember the last time I was so angry watching a game, dropping F-bombs and stuff. And you can attest, I was pretty positive the first 2 games we went to this year, which were both ugly games. They both didn't score early.
Could you have been miserable with me, Kyle? Was it worth it? I see this shit coming. I've been going to games for a fucking long time, man. And by the way, I'm going to preface this already. There's probably gonna be some cursing in this episode. So there was this one guy, I always remember him. He like sends me a picture of like him and his kid, like looking, like watching the show on their screen, Ooh. Like on their TV. And I said, even the film review, which by the way, I already did, is coming out tomorrow. If hide your kids, hide your wives, because I didn't hold back on some of those rants. So, but sorry, continue.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to tone down the mouth. So if you care about your kids not hearing those words, then maybe this isn't the episode for them to listen to. But yeah, man, like, and I just, every damn play, man, like it was just something. And, by the second half of the game, I mean, I already knew we got blown out and lost. So I was just kind of, dude, if I'm sitting down for the second half of the game, it's a bad game because I stand like the whole game. That's how excited I get to watch football, especially when I get to watch my team. If I'm sitting down, there's a problem. And I sat down pretty much the whole second half or whatever it was. So yeah, man, this was disgusting for sure. Yeah, and I was really pissed about Zach getting hurt too, man. Cause you never know for sure. It could be a season ending type of thing. And even PCL injuries, you might know people who are like medical experts, orthopedics or whatever. I know that Scott Mason knows somebody, and I was texting Scott, hey, text your friend, ask him, what the deal is. But apparently PCL injuries it's quite frequent that you can re-injure it the same season and stuff. So even though, it's good that it's not an ACL season ending thing, because I would hate for Zach's season to end like that before we really started to see a lot of the highs. And, of course, you never know if someone can come back and still be themselves. Of course, nowadays it's not that uncommon, but that really pissed me off that he got hurt. And the fact that there were still no penalties called. This is something you've been talking about every week and pretty much every film review. Just don't get calls. And how I could see not calling the Judon hit, but how can that Lawrence Guy hit not be called? And I wondered, and I didn't look up the rules or anything. Was it because it was clearly outside the tackle box we went low? But I don't feel like that's the case. I don't think you can go low on a quarterback when he's still
outside.
Period.
Outside the pocket, you can go low.
Okay, so
nonetheless, doesn't matter. And I said that in the review, like, it's like technically not a penalty because of the low hit. But at the same time, if that's Tom Brady, if that's Russell Wilson, if that's Patrick Mahomes, all this shit, it's going to be a penalty. And even the next play, Judon takes 2.5 steps and puts all of his weight on him. But then Quincy's penalty against the Matt Ryan two weeks ago. So that's a penalty. And then you saw the one Kyler Murray this week, barely got pushed, penalty. Geno Smith, which is freaking Geno Smith, which is confusing. But I guess it's Monday Night Football and it's the Seahawks, barely gets touched, falls to the ground. That's a penalty. You know, you have Tom Brady getting tapped in the helmet. That's a fucking penalty. But you have Zach Wilson getting absolutely destroyed. Not a penalty. And we have so many different ways to go with this.
Has there been one roughing the passer on him all year? I genuinely don't know. So I'm asking. I
don't think so. Maybe one.
I can't think of one. Can anyone in the chat call it out? Because I can't remember one.
I don't know. Yeah, what's up to the chat? Michael he's always here. Yoshi, Tommy R, John, Joe S, CD, Eagle, of course, Lloyd, Brandon, Sigs, fresh cut, appreciate it. Jets mess.
Yeah, I'm not used to seeing you with the hair like this, man. Usually it's always one.
I have a wedding and I had to do a test run with this, so I think this is what I'm gonna go with for the wedding. I don't know, but we'll see.
Looks good, but most importantly, does the wife like it?
She hasn't seen it yet. I gotta ask her. It's literally her decision. I'm like, do you like to fade up to here or up there, or do you like this? Like, I don't really.
But she told you to get a fade, though.
She told me to try something different, so I try something different. But we have to go so many different ways, and like you said, like you stand up during the games, as do I. Girth Brooks, Snoopy, what's up? Yeah, so to hit on the depression part of it, Kyle, too, like it fucking sucks for fans because, like you said, you get excited, you convince yourself that it's going to be a good game, and by the first drive of almost every single game this year, correct? Like maybe minus one or two, the Jets either go 3 and out and then let up a field goal or a touchdown every single game, and then you're already like, not feeling good. And then by 5 fucking more minutes into the game, then it's over. And then you're watching a game for 3.5 hours for no reason. For no reason. Even the Panthers game, yeah, okay, cool. They almost came back. The Broncos game, getting blown out. The first Pats game, getting blown out. The second Pats game, getting blown out. The Falcons game, getting blown out. Like we've had such little like hope in football. Like the Titans game, okay. The second half of the Panthers game, a little bit of the Falcons game. But it's been so much goddamn bullshit the last couple of years. It's just depressing to watch. Like we're not excited to watch our team by like week 3, 4, 5, 6. Like it's the beginning of fucking October, middle of October, and we're worrying about draft picks and can we get Thibodeau and will Stingley be there and what are the trades we can make and what it's going to look like next year? Like, or should we fire the fucking head coach? What about the OC who we're all so excited for that we said that, oh, well, maybe he'll get poached in a year or two. How about have just a good OC for 2 years? Or the DC, who we were so excited about to start the year, which I said last week, and I think in prior streams, the defense was being overrated. It was, because how many of these games were teams up so goddamn quick on the Jets, they didn't really have to try in the second half to put up points. And then they stopped them, and yeah, great second half stats, all those bullshit. The defense has looked like fucking garbage. And I understand, with that being said, that they're missing 5 or 6 linebackers. They're missing CJ Mosley, Davis, Sherwood, Quincy Williams went out for a little bit in that game. Hamza's on IR. You know, Cashman gets fucking injured every single goddamn game. And this is a reason in the offseason, which is we talk about some of the roster construction. And I'm more, and we'll get into a lot of stuff. I am more worried about the coaching staff right now than I am Joe Douglas, because I could see a lot of what Joe Douglas is trying to do. Being down 6 linebackers is hard. But what did I say in the offseason, Kyle? And you remember this specifically. I bring this up in the show I did about this game. 5 linebackers on the team is not enough. And I said it specifically with having Hamza and having Sherwood, who are 2 young guys, and being compiled with that, having Cashman, who can't stay healthy for a full game. So that's a problem with roster construction. You only brought 5 linebackers onto the opening day roster. That's
not to mention 2 of those guys were transitioning to playing linebacker.
And we'll get to the quarterback situation before, because how fucking much did we talk about this in the offseason in terms of bringing in a backup quarterback? And you were so goddamn confident in Mike White that the first second Wilson goes down, you trade an asset, and the people, oh, well, it's only a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick. Bullshit. It's capital wasted that did not need to be wasted. You could have brought in CJ Beathard. You could have brought in Nick Mullins. You could have brought in Hoyer. You could have traded for, if it's anybody, trade for Foles. There were so many quarterbacks.
Bring in Hoyer.
There were so many quarterbacks out there. And then you trade a pick, which that 6th round pick could be another Brandon Eccles, who we think could be a solid role player going forward. So yeah, who cares? It's just a 6th-round pick. It's the process about how they went about not bringing a backup quarterback because they were so goddamn confident in Mike White. So their plan basically was, hey, I hope Zach Wilson doesn't get fucking injured because we have no backup quarterback. That was your plan. And people on ESPN, people on WFN, whatever it is, laughed at the Jets for not having a backup quarterback. And then we all get pissed off on these streams for people laughing at, oh, same old Jets. It's going to be the same Jets. Oh, bullshit. It's not the same old Jets. We're this, we're that. We're the same old fucking Jets. And this is why people laugh at us, because of this shit that we do. Look at this. Like, look at this game. We haven't had a loss like this. I think this is the second largest loss we've ever had since the Super Bowl era. It's been like since the 90s that we've allowed this many points and this many yards.
Think about that. All those Adam Gase blowouts,
dude. And then there's people out there bringing up like, oh, this loss isn't as bad as some other losses. Bullshit. What loss is worse than this? And we talked about this team and we brought up a lot in the offseason, Kyle. We compared, I know again the injuries, but we compared this team to 2015 Jets. We compared this team to the 2017 Jets. We compared this team to last year's Jets. And what was like the thread? That this team could be a decent team. And no way is this roster a 3 or 4 win team. It's not. It is not. I will fight tooth and nail saying that this is not a 3 or 4 win team. This should be a 5, 6, 7 win team. And that's with the rookie coaches. But this roster is way too talented to be getting blown out by 41 points, even with Mike White, who actually didn't look terrible when he came in. But like, dude, it's such bullshit that we have to watch this shit on Sundays. And then for me personally, like bring it to me. Oh, woe is me. Fine, I'll do it. I have to watch film for 10 plus 15 hours a week and then do multiple shows a week and then go on other podcasts and talk about this goddamn team. It's getting so old, dude. So old. And there was a reason that I don't know how long people have been following me here that second half, I think it was like the second half of Adam Gase's first year, I stopped podcasting. I couldn't do it anymore. It's not worth it sometimes. And I'm not going to quit or anything now. I'm not saying that, but like, holy shit, it is depressing to be this fucking miserable at the end of October. We just wanted to be competing. Like, Kyle, if they were losing these games by a field goal, by 4 points, by a touchdown, maybe even 2 touchdowns, if one of those touchdowns were late, I just want to see a team that's competing. We're getting blown out almost every single week of the season. It is depressing.
Yeah.
Comments.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. I asked for your comments. I'm just so fucking done with this bullshit because I did not expect them to be losing by 41 fucking points, dude. First drive, gashed. 3rd and 10, gashed. 3rd and 7, gashed. The coaching adjustments, brutal. And people just say that shit and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they don't watch the game. They'll just say, oh, this, and they never have stuff to back it up. Kyle, the problem is we have shit to back it up. Why the fuck are you blitzing on 3rd and 10 versus a screen happy team? Why are you blitzing? Why are you shooting upfield versus a team who you learned from the last time, who's only running traps and draws? What did you learn? The defense last week, you're blitzing fucking Matt Ryan and zone dropping. You were man blitzing all year. You're facing a veteran quarterback, man blitz. They throw the ball short. Why are you on a fucking zone drop? Yeah. Dude, and that's why I'm so concerned about the coaching staff. They have to learn, sure. But some of the mistakes they're making this early in their tenure is legitimately concerning because I'm not one of those Joes on the fucking couch who drinks beers and has no idea what the fuck they're watching. I'm watching shit and we're saying it before the game. This is what they need to do. And they're getting blown out of the water on simple shit, like every day. Like there's 54 people in here, which by the way, I'm surprised even fucking 54. 50 of the 54 probably know, hey, it's not a good idea to run blitzes versus screen happy team. It's just not, because there's not as many guys to make the tackle or defeat the blocks. It's the most elementary shit that they're fucking up that has me going wild. Like, why? I can't handle it anymore. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And we have how many more weeks of this shit? Now we have Mike White starting. Like, yay.
Yeah, right.
God.
11 more games, man. And it's I'm going to be pissed if Zach's out for 4, but if it's for the best, then I guess I'll be okay. And yeah, the screen thing, like, talk about learning from mistakes. Dude, we've been getting gashed on screens all year, man. Well, I mean, McCaffrey had a couple big screens. Broncos had a couple of big ones against us. Obviously, the Patriots week 2 had a good amount against us. The Titans, man, that Titans game was frustrating with the screens, man. 3rd and 28, and you fucking give it up on a fucking screen. That's a fucking embarrassment. And the thing about like, and when you get blown out this much, it cannot just be a talent thing. Like, yes, were the Jets depleted? No doubt. Were they depleted on defense? Absolutely no doubt about it. And that was part of the reason they got their ass kicked so much, because you could tell there was so much miscommunication with people in the linebacking core and stuff, and just guys totally out of position. It's like that one play with like even in the secondary too. It was like Michael Carter and Marcus May, and nobody took whoever, I forget that H-back player for the Patriots, whatever his name is. He's running wide open in the flat. His unathletic ass running right down the sideline.
Where they were just running swing routes and flat routes and just wide open, like just blown coverage.
Yeah, and Brandon Bolden looks like he's like fucking I don't know, James White in his prime out there.
It's just like little shit that they, if you like, there's multiple times this game where they motion like in a cross motion, whatever it may be, to make a 2 receiver set, a 3 receiver set, and then there was 2 jets running with 1 guy, and then there was a guy wide open. Like, it was the most simple shit that they just could not adjust to. They did not come to play at all. The defense was brutal. The pass rush was non-existent, and I get with the pass rush. I understand that the Pats got it out on 3-step drops and screens all day, so it's gonna be a little bit harder for them to be effective. But they got blown up in the run game. The Pats do a really good job of getting double teams on the first level, and they put a lot of emphasis on the linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
But even Fadokasi this game, he got blown up a couple of times. He didn't look great. The double teams were getting moved. Sherwood and Quincy's lost out there, absolutely lost in terms of like playing in zone, whatever it may be. He presses the line of scrimmage so hard that people are just wide up behind him. If you're playing the Jets and you want to get intermediate passes, run play action and just run crossers, because the linebackers are never, ever, ever going to pick them up. And I watched, how many times this year have we watched just spot dropping? Just linebackers bite up, spot drop, tight ends, running backs, receivers right behind them. Like they're not matching, which is concerning, because spot dropping is why Greg Williams is starting to fall out of the NFL. I've seen way too much of that. The corners are okay, but even like Hall this game, like he listen, going into the week, what are you expecting from the Patriots, Kyle? They run trick plays. Yeah. Don't let your receiver go. You got to stay with your receiver. Stack him, hold him. He has an shit moment. He gave up a touchdown.
Talking about the Al Gore touchdown when
to Bourne
through the
ball.
Like,
and then fucking 500 yards, and 400 of them, literally 400 of the yards were probably on screens and checkdowns. That's all it was all game. And they can't cover that. What happens when T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase come to town? Or we go to no, they come here. Like if we get beat by less than 30, I'll be impressed this game. What happens when we play the Bucks, the Bills? Like, we haven't played great teams yet, and we're getting blown out. I expect this.
That's the funny thing about the NFL, though. Like, you'd think like, oh man, the Titans, we should get blown out by them. And I know that they were down there too, big wide receivers, but the NFL's weird in matchups and stuff. But on paper, it doesn't look like. I mean, the Bengals' offensive line. I mean, we were all expecting them to be trash, but have they pleasantly surprised this year? I mean, because that's like one clear mismatch, our defensive line against their offensive line, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the NFL is about matchups. That's why, like, on any given week, one team can look horrible against one team and then good against the next team. But something I wanted to say before, like, so, Saleh knows that, like, the NFL is all about close games and stuff. And I'm just thinking, I don't listen to a lot of press conferences, but I have been listening to the post-game press conferences, just kind of still, feeling out the new staff. And I like to listen to Zach's press conferences, but only after the games. Anyway, I remember after the Panthers game, Saleh kept saying, I knew it was going to come down to one score. I knew it was going to come down to one score. And that's something I feel like I've heard him say more than one occasion. And the sad thing is, man, this season, a lot of games have been far away from one score, Robert Saleh. So if the NFL is consistently about one score games, and how you can make one or two less mistakes and one or two more big plays in big time situations, well, you're not even putting yourself in that position. It's definitely a cause for concern, man, for sure.
I wish they lost that Titans game. Like, I really do. Like, they didn't deserve that, because they didn't even deserve to win that game. Like, I want them to bask in their misery and realize how shitty they are right now. Because even that game, how many 3rd and 20s, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 10s did they give up? The last drive before the fourth quarter, they gave that up. The drive in overtime,
and then not punching it in, like,
and then not punching it in,
not ending it when they could have
for easy missed passes, and then they drive down the field again. And because Randy Bullock missed a 42-yard, 43-yard, 46-yard field goal, whatever the fuck it was, then they get a win. Like, we should be 0-5 0-6-1 or 0-5-1, whatever the hell the record is right now. What are we, 1-5? So 0-5-1, like, they don't even deserve to win right now. Like, that game was still shit. Like, it just was. But I'm I don't know where you want to start. I guess we kind of started already, but what do you think about Wilson before he got injured? We'll get to coaching. We'll get into a lot of
he
shit,
played
but
fine before he got hurt, and there was one. I'm having trouble remembering what kind of play it was and stuff. There was one throw where, you know, he kind of like dirted it, but I think he got hit on the play though. So I think that's kind of why it went nowhere. But like in terms of, you know, just throwing some of the quick out routes and the little simple stuff, the in rhythm type of throws, that looked better. Now it's a small sample size because he only threw 10 passes or whatever in this game, but that looked better. Like he looked more quick and decisive in the short game. And then he did have that one big throw where he was, you know, moving to his left across his body,
to Griffin
threw it over the one defender. Yeah. To Griffin.
Yeah.
Now the play where they did get the big pass interference, the play that he got hurt on,
brutal.
That was a bad throw. That was a bad throw.
Terrible.
Yeah. And you might think like, oh, well, the hit. Nah, I don't think the hit really affected him there. It didn't.
That was a terrible decision.
I can say that for sure.
It was like too high, and he was running like a corner post. I think it was Keelan Cole or whoever it was. Yeah, and the safety is very high and inside, and that's where he's running his route, and he just chucks it. And that's after checking Ty Johnson, who was wide open in the flat, and it wasn't 3rd and 10. It was 1st and 10. Throw the ball to Ty Johnson. He's going to get you at least 5-6 yards, but he just decides, fuck it, I'm just going to throw it up. Like it was a really bad decision that got him hurt because there was a guy wide open in the flat.
And that's really
get hurt, but
and that's really what separates like, you know, decent to good quarterbacks to like the elite quarterbacks. So like the elite quarterbacks can make all the throws, they can make the special off platform stuff, but they also just understand like football is about taking what's there, not pushing it when you don't need to, taking what the defense gives you. And, you know, I love the fact that Wilson is not scared. I love that. But he does need to understand game situation a little bit more. And you hope that, okay, he's young and in time he'll learn that type of stuff. But yeah, it's kind of also something it's, you know, you can draw up all the math equations and, oh, in this situation, I have this much percentage of converting, but some of it's just like a feel and you just got to feel it out. And it's like a sixth sense. So I don't know, but yeah, overall, I would say he was fine, but it was such a small sample size. So.
Yeah, he was more accurate short. That's for sure. The throw to Davis on the sideline was good. That Davis dropped. The throw to Griffin was good. He had a couple accurate throws. The one throw was a little bit short to Elijah Moore. Moore should have ran the route with more depth, it looks like, and the ball was short nonetheless. The deep ball to Cole, regardless of rushed or not, it was a terrible decision. I don't know if there's people defending that throw in the chat. Regardless, it's a bad decision. You can't throw a post ball versus safety high and inside. That just is not the option you take. He was lucky that it was a PI and not picked. It should have been picked.
Yes.
So that was a terrible decision. So he looked okay, I guess. But what do you think about the offense overall? Because there are so many things like Mike LaFleur. They watched the tape, the bye week. They colluded together. Everything was they fixed it, right, Kyle? Everything was fixed. And I get that you can't always pass on first down, but we talk about tendencies. We know this stuff. People have analytical departments. They study the Jets as an opponent. The Jets run 70% of the time on first down in the first quarter. They're coming into New England with nothing to lose. They should maybe throw a trick play, maybe do an end around, maybe do a pass, maybe a play action. What do? Run up the middle, stuffed. Next run, up the middle or to the side, whatever, stuffed. Now Zach Wilson is in a 3rd and long, and he gets sacked from a nickel blitz. It's never picked up. There was no hot route. There was nothing. Initially, I was like, oh, there had to be a hot route there. There's no hot route. There was multiple deep routes down the field, and the offensive line was just lost. Like was it McGovern who was supposed to call that out? Was it Moses? Sometimes it's so bad you can't even tell what they're supposed to be doing because it's just so damn bad. So, yeah, I don't know what changed. You had Mike LaFleur who designed a screen with Elijah Moore as the main blocker, and the screen doesn't even make sense. Like I didn't even like the screen design because it was like a tight inverted stack, and you have the outside receiver running a bubble with the inside receiver racing to get to the outside corner. In what world? Those screens are typically outside receiver. That receiver stalk blocks on a vertical path to the cornerback, and then the bubble goes behind him. But now you have the outside receiver running the bubble, now that corner is going to follow that receiver with the other receiver inside racing to block him. How does that make sense? And it's Elijah Moore. You have Corey Davis, you have Mims, you have Keelan Cole, but you choose for Elijah Moore to be your main blocker on a fucking screen. Like, what is going on here? You have 4th and 1 runs with Ty Johnson running up the middle, who has absolutely no vision. The guy is terrible. He makes a couple guys miss in open field, but Ty Johnson's not good.
And his hands are really bad.
His hands are bad. He dropped one over the middle. This game, his vision's bad.
Which should have been picked.
Is bad. His patience is bad. The Jets have been outscored 106-20 in the first half this year. They still have no points in the first quarter. In 6 quarters, in a game and a half of first quarters, they have no points. It is 20-20-1. We expected them to be at least okay. Moore had 2 design touches this game, which now makes his total in the year 4. With those 2 touches, he had one on a smoke, which wasn't really designed. It was a weird design. I don't know if it didn't look alerted because the corner wasn't that far off, where they were alert to it pre-snap. It looked like there was like a screen to the right, and he checked that real quick. And if the corner backed up, he threw it. That's what it looked like to me. Threw it, breaks a tackle, runs for a first down. Later in the game, they have an end around for a touchdown. Holy fucking shit! There's hundreds of Jets fans who are saying get him more touches. He gets touches and he makes plays, and then you go away from it, and then he doesn't.
Look how easy he pulled away from defenders on that.
And then he doesn't touch the ball the rest of the game. You see Cordell Patterson on the Falcons touch the ball over and over and over and over when they're a struggling team. Why not let Moore touch the ball more? You had simple reads. How many? I don't know if you watched the film. How many of White's reads were 1-2 check down, 1-2 check down, 1-2 check down, and they're all like a slant flat, a flat 5, a flat 7, a spacing concept, a stick concept. It was all really easy shit to get him going. But Wilson, you don't run that shit for Wilson. You can't get Wilson going. But yeah, fuck it. Let's get Mike White going. No creativity on 3rd and 4th and short. I think it was Samini who put out a stat from like ESPN Stats and Info that like our average is like 0.26 or some shit like that. Whatever it is, it's like even if it's a half a yard on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. The rest of the league is like 1.3. We're gaining like a yard less on average.
That stat. Can you explain
on average in 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, we're gaining like a half a yard, where the rest of the league is getting like a yard and a half. Okay. Like we're a whole yard under in 3rd and 4th and short. Like there's no creativity. Like there's no fake handoffs with throwbacks or the guys leaking out. It's a handoff up the middle every time. And multiple of those runs, they're running the fucking GVR side. GVR can't block a shit. Dude, he was so bad.
And let's just be honest too. Like runs up the middle. If you got Derrick Henry, okay, I understand it. But all our running backs are not big bruisers anyway. So just on the face of it, like you want a big bruising Derrick Henry, Brandon Jacobs type of running back getting those types of. I don't get that just from a scheme standpoint. Yeah, and going back to what you said, Elijah on the screen, out of all people to have a block on a play like that, like he's the least that you'd want that. Okay, maybe for throwing it to him, but yeah, the design, like you said too, was also disgustingly ugly.
I've never seen a bubble to an outside receiver with an inside receiver racing to get outside, unless it was like really wide in splits and the corner was like off maybe, but like it just did not make any sense with
because what's the upside of that? Like, do you feel like did they think that was going to create a lot of space or whatever? I mean, you're asking a player to make like a really tough block in a situation like that, and the goal of like blocking on screens is to get people in positions where they can make easy blocks. I don't get that. But it's always easy. It's always easier to point out the problems than it is to have the solutions. So
again, most bubble screens I've seen with 2 receivers, 1 receiver's outside, the bubble comes from the slot, and then the corner is already on the number 1 receiver because he's going to be the farthest outside, and then he stalk blocks him, and that's it. But I've never seen an outside receiver run a bubble. It just doesn't make any sense in terms of leverage. It just didn't make sense. And then then it's Elijah Moore.
Yeah, who not only is he small, but sadly,
not a good blocker.
The thing about him blocking too is he had very low effort, Jeb Bush type of low energy on his blocks in college. Probably the biggest downside of his film, his college film. So
yeah. That was brutal. Mims sees no touches again, but you have all these tight ends, which is something we've been talking about a lot. But like how much 12 personnel versus having Mims in. Mims gets thrown, he had that one catch, I believe, and then the one ball thrown deep. I forget if it was an OPI, but he's almost jumping over guys' back to make receptions. Like, you can't get this guy in the field.
It was almost an impressive catch, but if there's a different type of receiver in that situation who doesn't manage to get in front of the defensive back, that could be a pick potentially. So
yeah. Eagle's promoting his own shit in here a lot. Eagle, you're throwing out your links and stuff a lot in here, huh, buddy? Eagle's going going Hollywood on us a little bit.
I guess he deserves it. He's managing the chat and stuff, making sure there's no trolls.
He shouted us out on one of his most recent things. He sent me that link. I saw that. So yeah, what's up in the chat? Jets gang, CD, Yoshi. Again, I don't know if I missed anything. James Smith, I'm not sure who that. He's saying bring back Rex, dude. Look, those days were actually fun. Like, at least we competed, and like you're talking about Saleh, like saying that all these one-score games and stuff like that. Like, how excited would we be if we lost all these games by one score, like last second games? Like, if it was a lot of the games like the Titans or even the Falcons were getting to come back, but they lost on letting that drive up. Like, at least it's something, but the Broncos game getting shut out, the Pats game was it 24 to
we put up 3 points in that game, I think.
Yeah, 24-3, wherever the Broncos game was, like 33-0 or wherever the hell that game was. Like the Falcons, you're down by 21-3 at halftime. Panthers game, what was the halftime score? 17-18-3 or some shit like that. Like, it was just
maybe 16-0 something, or 16-3, something like that.
Yeah. Tommy R, where's the visual aids film guy? I don't know if he's talking to me. If you're talking about,
he might just be asking like, where's the film clips?
Because we're talking about so many different things. I'm not pulling up 14 different clips that we've already discussed really that quickly, but there's a 3.5 hour show coming out tomorrow. So it's all in there. So yeah, it was bad. Moving on. Anything else from the OC that you want to discuss from this game? A lot of it just completely ass.
Yeah, nothing that's coming to mind right now, although I just haven't been thoroughly unimpressed. And here's the thing too, you have to wonder, like, so he's young and hopefully he can learn from this, but he has no proven track record thus far that shows that he can do this job well, being an OC, that is. So it does make you wonder, if he can't get his shit together by the end of this season, do you make him the OC next season? I mean, if it's this bad,
like
he for an entire year,
he can't,
right?
Be. And
then that's bad, because think about it. Like, you're a first year head coach. You literally had basically, because when you're a new head coach, you're one of the hottest candidates on the market. You basically have your pickings of who you want to be your OC. You can basically pick anybody. But if you fuck up your first pick, you think it's going to be easy to get your second OC from here on out? I mean, that's one of the things with Rex is, Rex went through so many different offensive coordinators throughout his tenure. Towards the end, a bunch of people like didn't want to work with him and stuff, or I presume at least, like he was kind of, let me get Tony Sperano to come be my offensive coordinator. Okay.
Yeah.
But granted, Sperano was actually his second offensive coordinator.
It was just such a mistake. It was such a mistake and we said this in the offseason before, and like all people like, oh, it's Monday morning quarterbacking, but we brought up in the offseason, like bringing in young OC, young quarterback, young backup who's never seen a snap in the NFL was going to be a massive or could be a massive problem. And it clearly shot them in the fucking foot, So yeah, a 34 years old OC who's never really seen, never game planned, and except for like 1 year in like a minor college, like some T2 or college or something like that. And people are saying
where they went 0-10.
I'm not gonna say names, but that the Niners want LaFleur back based on what has he done that's impressed you? Like, there's been nothing that's been impressive for him. Like his even just the personnel decisions. Like, we don't have to get into the X's and O's and the plays he calls and all this shit, but like even just his stubbornness to play 12 personnel when you're legitimately 5 deep at receiver says enough. That says enough about him.
It really does, to be honest. And yeah, Griffin did have that one nice catch on the nice throw by Zach, but did he also have a drop in this game?
Not off the top of my head. I can't think of one.
I feel like he did, but I know that was one of the obscenities that I blurted out during the game. Like that this scrub keeps playing, and Can't block, can't catch.
Nonetheless, Ryan Griffin is seeing a lot more reps than Denzel Mims and targets than Denzel Mims. It says a lot. And,
And they're still going so much 12, and you don't even have your best tight end right now, too.
And then you have people out there who are saying Mims is a bust because of why? Because he's not being played. Like maybe the Jets, now that we'll talk about the Flacco thing, maybe they have Flacco now. The Jets will go back in history and be like, holy shit, Mims is actually pretty good with Flacco. Maybe does he get playing time now? Most likely not.
Dude, I get why they're not playing Flacco this week, because obviously there's some terminology and stuff that he's just naturally going to have to pick up on, even if he's somewhat familiar with the system overall. But I would rather see him play than Mike White. I don't know about you, but I would, because I still want to win games this year. And that's not a tune that I've been saying in recent years, because I've wanted to lose a lot in recent years.
I'm at the point now where I want them to be competitive. If they win, great, because I still am rooting for Saleh, because I think he could be a good head coach. We'll see. Right now it's not on a great track, but I'm still rooting for him because it's a possibility. Where Gase, I was not going to root for him because obviously we knew that he needed to be fired. At this point, I'm not going to say fire Saleh right now. So I'm okay with them winning. But at the same time, if they lose being quarterback by Mike White, I'm not going to be mad because of the draft pick. And it's the end of October. I don't know how we've gotten here so quickly. I don't care if we win on Sunday. I don't care if we win on Thursday. I probably couldn't care any less. I'm at that point now. I'm already done.
Damn, Joe. That's not true. You're not. I'm telling you right now, Zach comes back in a couple weeks and starts tearing it up and we start winning games.
Keyword. What was the keyword you just said? If Zach comes back.
Oh, okay.
Wins under Zach, fine. Wins with Mike White, I don't
you
really
also
care.
Just said you didn't really care about the Titans win too.
I care about the Titans win, but I'm saying they didn't even deserve it.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
Yeah. So with that being said, James Smith says Mims will have one reception for 30 yards on Sunday. Then they'll bench him. Yeah, that'll be his one target. He'll have a 30-yard fade, jumping over two guys for a reception. They'll bench him, saying he doesn't know the playbook. Yeah, and let's get to the defense too. What do you think about and we'll get into more of the position groups just individually. Then we'll get into some storylines about whatever else is surrounding this game. I don't know where to go. The defense, like I said, the adjustments.
Let me pick your thoughts with this, because we were just criticizing LaFleur. And this is not something that you would want to see anywhere close to 10 snaps or whatever. But what are your thoughts about in certain situations, putting someone like Mims or Corey Davis at H-back, and even sometimes they're not running they're not running a route, but they're just, they're just being like a sifter on an inside zone or something like that. And then sometimes you can run like a slide route with them out of the backfield, off that same type of motion or something like that, show like a different look. And that way you don't have to do the 12 personnel. And you still have 11 personnel. You're still putting 3 good receivers out there. And what do you think about something like that?
It's better than doing the same shit they've been doing.
Yeah, right.
You're talking about creativity here, Kyle. I think we have to slow it down. We can't get creative here. That's just they show 1 or 2 creative plays a week and then they go away from it.
I mean, obviously those guys are not big enough. I'm not. Don't get me, guys. People in the chat, don't get it twisted. I'm not acting as if Mims or Corey Davis, that you'd want them in line blocking a lot like that. But if we're looking at a lot of the McVay and Shanahan stuff, I mean, Cooper Kupp, who's, tearing it up in all the fantasy numbers and stuff, he plays in line so much. He's not a big dude. He blocks a lot. You don't, and McVay is a big 11 personnel guy. I don't remember exactly what the numbers are, but I would imagine somewhere over the years, something like 80+% of the plays, 11 personnel. This team, and the reason I keep saying our team is built to be an 11 personnel team. Why the fuck are we going so much 12? We have such a horrible tight end unit that we should not be doing that.
It's the worst in the NFL. It's the worst in the NFL.
So, and we don't even have our best tight end right now. So what are we doing?
And that's an oversight by Douglas. I've been saying it for months, Kyle, or we've been saying it for months. If there's 3 things you could really, or a couple things you can really criticize them for: backup quarterback, 100%, tight end, right guard, I would say linebacker too. Those are 4 oversights in the roster that I think were pretty bad, especially the guys like Nick Morrow out there and KJ Wright and I hate when people automatically assume that players would sign with the Jets if you offer them a contract. But to bring in a thin linebacker group with 2 guys converting from safety, with one of those guys being injured every single game he plays in, with with a stud of that unit not playing football for 2 years, and this is what you rely on. Like, and I love Mosley, and Mosley's been great, but when he gets injured, which you never know if he would have, the depth behind him is absolutely brutal. And I know Davis is there, but still, then you have Davis, Hamza, Sherwood, and Cashman. Like, that's your linebacker group. So yeah, bad. Somebody's Jets gang. I know you're in here a lot, but name me a 2-14 team that went to the playoffs next year. We're not asking for a lot. The bar is so goddamn low right now. It's not even go to the playoffs. It's be competitive. I want to watch competitive football. We're seeing 41-point blowout losses where the Pats literally scored. They scored on every single drive but 2. One of them was with Brian Hoyer, who's a backup quarterback. The first time they made a punt was like 2 minutes left in the third quarter. The only other time they didn't score this game was when they kneeled the ball at the end of the game. They stopped the Patriots one time in a whole game, in a whole 60-minute game. The offense put up 13 points. The offense, like I said before, has been outscored 106-20 in the first quarter, in the first half.
And
they haven't scored a point. They haven't scored a point in the first quarter. I'm not asking for a lot, but for you to act like this is fine, to get blown out by the Broncos, to get blown out by the Pats twice, it's not okay. It's not okay to be playing football like this. So yeah, I didn't expect them to get 12 wins this year. Even if they won 5 games, we've been competitive, like legitimately competitive, the entire game in one game this year. That was the Titans. The Panthers, we were down 18-3 or 17-3, whatever it was, 16-3. Even the Falcons game, 21-3 or 20-3, whatever it was. Like, we've barely been competitive. So if that's the bar that you're okay with them being at right now, that's on you, because that's not acceptable right now, because the roster is not this bad. It is bad. They have a lot of holes to fix. It is not getting beat by 41 points to a 2-4 team on the road bad, or it doesn't matter on the road or at home, whatever. It's a 2-4 team without Tom Brady. Their receivers are Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, and Jacoby Myers. Like, holy shit, that offensive group should really be put on fucking 54 points on who? Nobody but the Jets. Their defense has some good players, but who is their like stud on their defense? Minus J.C. Jackson. Like, we're terrified of Dante.
They didn't have Hightower. He didn't even play in this game.
Yeah, he didn't. Oh yeah, he didn't play. What, Van Noy?
I mean, McCourty's a little washed at this point. He's not what he was.
He's
still a
solid
player.
He's solid, but they don't have studs. They have a collection of all right players by a good coach. So if you're fine,
Barmore's still raw. He didn't even play a lot of snaps.
If you're fine with getting blown out by 41 points, that's on you, because to me that is not acceptable football. We haven't lost that bad, or that's tied for the biggest loss in Jets history. It's fine. Just they're young. It's okay. That's fine. What are we doing? Other from the offense, we'll go to the defense coaching too. With the defense, offensive line, McGovern had a couple of bad plays. GVR he's an idiot. Like, he has no idea in terms of his angles to guys. Like, they'll be running inside zone to the left, and he'll have nobody on his left side, so he'll just be blocking back or whatever the situation may be. And he blocks at such a flat angle, he just allows guys to scrape his face and get right on the play.
Can you pull up a play quickly?
I compared, and I was being a little bit like insensitive, bullshit, whatever. I'm gonna fuck right now. I said that because one of the plays, the guy literally crosses his face, and I'm like, just a smart player who's a double amputee in his arms would be better than GVR in this play, because all he had to do was step forward, and he would have done better than GVR. Literally, all he had to do was take 2 steps forward and turn, and even with no arms, he would have been better, because he'd at least gotten in the way. Where GVR just takes a lateral step, covering no ground vertically, and he just gets his face crossed for tackle for loss.
So think about that right now, GVR. Okay, so you're saying that he's playing stupid. Okay, we already know he's not athletic, and he's playing with poor technique too. You combine all 3 of those things, you're going to get an ass offensive lineman. And so many times he just gets so off balance, gets both of his feet like right together, and he's just playing. Sometimes he plays high. I mean, he's been really bad.
Bucks his head. He's been.
Are you trying to pull up a play? Because I'd love to see this play you're talking about. I mean, yeah, I have seen it, but
yeah, this is the play I'm talking about, where a double amputee would be better than GVR in this play. Hold on, 2 seconds. Right here, it's duo. So he's blocking back. It's a strong duo. So you're gonna kick out. He's blocking back. It basically looks like power without
Puller.
a puller. That's like the most common thing. And people confuse duo with inside zone sometimes. And
That's
it's
the longest running debate on football Twitter.
Because like, again, and there was you can look it up, like misconceptions about inside zone. Like inside zone, if there's nobody to your front side gap, you can block back. So if there was nobody here in his inside zone, he could block back to this guy, and there'd be a double team here, and people are like, oh, it's duo. That's not necessarily the case. It's just inside zone. But nonetheless, this is the play I was talking about. All he has to do is step vertical and guard him against crossing his face, because the run's going opposite. That's all you have to do is just get in his way. Okay, it's simple. Steps like
fourth down too.
Fourth and one. That's how he blocks. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Like I said, WMPT, right? No arms. If he were to take 2 steps forward, 1, 2, turn his hips, just get in his way.
Can you play it slow-mo all the way forward? And this is probably going to be a first down if he doesn't fuck up.
Oh,
like
it would have been. He just had to run forward right to the ass of Fant and ABT and whoever else. That's all you have to do. The first down marker is like right here, like the 32 or whatever it is. And he just this guy cross his face. That's all you have to do. You have to cover your gap with your hips. That's what you have to do. You cannot take lateral steps, be this wide, and let him just cross your face like that. That's the last thing you could do, and that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, and
he could have probably fell down at the beginning of the snap, just like trust falled on his face, and it would have done better than his block.
I'm not even a fan of this. Like sometimes, like on the backside of like outside zone runs, I forget exactly what the technique's called, where sometimes the offensive lineman will just put their back to the defensive lineman in pursuit to just get in their way. Do you know what that technique's called? I can't remember.
What were you saying? Sorry, I was reading the chat.
Sometimes like where the offensive lineman, like on the backside, like of an outside zone run, they'll just get in front of
like
the defensive lineman's,
like a cutoff block.
Cutoff block. Okay, where they just put their back and their ass in front of him.
Yeah.
If he had just done that there, which you wouldn't do on a play like that, you mostly just see that like on the backside of outside zone runs.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been better too. Like if he put his back, if he moved the other way and put his back in front of him. But yeah, that's the one spot you can't go there because you can't give him the inside. Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
Tommy R said
that was a good line by you. Good line by you.
I was pissed. I was like, I shouldn't have said that. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care. Tommy R said, now you bring out the film because Kyle asked. Yeah, Kyle has more say than you do on this show, Tommy. So, and I was talking about when I bring up a double amputee blocking better than GVR, I kind of should bring up the play maybe.
But Tommy, here's the deal though. So like Joe probably recorded anywhere between 50 to 70 plays or something like that. There's no way you can go through all of them right now. So just certain things, like when we want to highlight a certain thing, which it's easy to remember. Okay. Denzel Mims, he had this acrobatic almost catch where he jumped over. Like a lot of people are going to remember that because you saw that in the game. They played it in replay 3, 4, 5 times or whatever. But the broadcast is not going to say, "Oh, GVR fucked up on this block here." Let's point it out. So it's another reason why it was brought up.
Yeah. And you almost like get numb to it during the week. Like sometimes I do wish we did like just after the game, like post game reactions or Monday or Tuesday. Because
we're going to 1 week.
I get which week.
Hey man, are you down for a live stream after the Falcons game if we win?
The Falcons game?
Yeah,
we were going to. Yeah, what game are you talking about? Because I'm talking about like even with losses too, like because like I am so angry on Monday and Tuesday and even Wednesday, and then like by Thursday I start to get like almost like numb to it. Like I'm just like I don't even care. Like I walk into work, people are like, oh, I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like shut the fuck up. Like you're saying stuff I've heard a million times. Like shut the fuck up. But with that being said, like in terms of the 60 plays, at first I told myself, I told you this like pre-show, like I planned on just being like, I'm just gonna do the film. I'm gonna calm down. Like it's fine. Like I'm not gonna rant. I'm too tired. I'm numb to it. And the first like 20 minutes of that show, just me ranting about how bad the Jets suck. So if you are one of those watchers, if you're a subscriber, if not, $5 a month, it's the price of 2 cups of coffee. Go watch the film breakdown where I break down every play, which was absolute, or not every play, but 60 plays this game, which was absolute trash. But if you're there for the rant, then watch the 20 to 30 minute rants that I just have in that show about how fucking bad the Jets are. Some of the times in that show, I lost it. I just lost it just watching. It's like, what is this? Um,
Jets gang says best player the Jets had in the last 10 years is Adams. Darrelle Revis. What are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, Terrell Reeves.
Okay.
And he's talking about the offensive line too. I see that in here. Like some of the guys. Listen, there are like the offensive line. It is improved, but the problem with it right now is GVR is such a weak link. It's taking down the entire unit. It legitimately is because, like, we can't argue that Becton is the most talented left tackle we've had in years. You know, guys like Moses and Fant are better than the Wayne Hunters and the Breno Giacomini's and even the Kelvin Beachums that we've had in the past. And while McGovern is below average, he's still better than Wesley Johnson, Jonathan Harrison, Spencer Long, all these scrubs we've had. So yes, the offensive line is improved, but GVR is such a weak link on a lot of these plays that that's just blowing up the entire play. Like Nani put out a stat. It was a good stat. Michael Carter had 37 rushing yards this game. 41. He had 41 yards after contact.
Wow.
37 rushing yards, 41 yards after contact. He had -4 yards before contact this game.
Wow.
Like what? And a lot of it's GVR. He's just so freaking bad. So it's blown up the whole offensive line. So I'm not saying it's bad, but like, and that's where we can get to the Douglas and Saleh stuff. Like, again, this is the best offensive line they had in years. It is. Even with GVR. That's just they've been 31, 32, 31, 32 for years and years and years and years. Now it's probably like what? Like let's just say like 23, 24, whatever you want to say. So it's better. The receivers we have are the best group we've had since 2015, easily. The defensive line, the best we've had in years, even though they haven't shown up the last two games, which, again, to be fair, while I do want them to play better than they are, undoubtedly, it is hard against teams who are doing quick drops and screens to get there.
Oh, yeah.
That's undoubtable.
Mm-hmm.
The corners, you know, Tremaine Johnson and Morris Claiborne, who are two like higher, well, not really Claiborne, but Johnson were like two like higher sought after free agents. And this group with a 5th round rookie, another 5th round rookie, a 6th round rookie are doing much better than that group. So they have talent, but that's also the problem when we start talking about them losing by 41 points. And that's why I'm saying I'm more worried about the coaching staff right now than I am about Joe Douglas, because I see what he's doing. I see the cap space. I see some of the picks. I see the Huff picks. I see the Guidry pick. I see the trade for the signing of JFM. I see Michael Carter the second. I see Michael Carter the first. I see ABT. There are some good moves he's making, but this team is not losing 54-13 to the Patriots bad. And that's why I'm more concerned about the coaches than the GM. So Kyle, I don't know if you agree with me, because we can listen. If you want, if you guys want a live stream of 3 hours of breaking down every single move in our thought process and not just defending it, being completely transparent on Joe Douglas, I'll do that. I'll do a 4-hour stream, just me and Kyle going through every single move he's done since we've been here. Because a lot of people be like, oh, the offensive line, they should have signed Tooney or Lindsley. Who was saying that those guys would have signed here? And even Trey Smith, like people talk about Trey Smith. They should have drafted Trey Smith. He was drafted in the 6th round. So he skipped by hundreds and hundreds of picks. And
including he's not the Chiefs many times over.
Many times. And he's not a fit for the system. He's not. He's a plotting offensive lineman. You can't run zone with a plotting offensive lineman. Now, would he be better than GVR? Probably. But like you get why he didn't pick him. You know, look at Robbie Anderson. What is he doing? What is Jamal Adams doing? People hated him for that. He traded him for 2 firsts and a third. So like, again, I will defend him to a certain point. I will. The coaching staff is on thin ice already, and it's been 6 games, and that's concerning because, like you said, Saleh's going to be here for at least another year or two, or at least probably another 2 years. But the problem with LaFleur is if the offense looks like this absolute dog shit the rest of the year, then guess what? Zach Wilson going into year 2 is already on the system too. It's not good. Maybe a backup quarterback would have helped, you know, like, so we'll get into that a bunch, but like, again, we have another hour or so, but I don't know what I just said, but comments if you have any.
Yeah, you were just saying that the coaching staff is definitely much more of a concern. And then, you know, you're talking about if they are really bad and whatever happens with that, that's going to obviously potentially stunt Zach Wilson's development. And I completely agree that I am more concerned with them at this point. You know, I could let it slide for a first couple of games, but I forget which person said this. I think he was an old Falcons coach when he was yelling at the refs one time. It's like one of these classic moments in NFL films. NFL, you know what that stands for? Not for long. You know, like, bro, in the NFL, there's only so many games. There's only so much bad we can see before we start saying, all right, enough is enough. Like, this is not acceptable. And Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Somebody
So,
was saying in the chat,
I say we have a couple
people,
comments here.
people are
on
saying
drafts.
Feeney season. Would you bench Greg Van Rotten for Dan Feeney? Personally, I wouldn't. What are your thoughts
I
on
would give
that,
him a
Joe?
shot. It's not like you can get worse. Let Feeney play for a game. If he plays just as bad, put GVR in. It's not you're not his confidence. Send a message to him. Hey, you've been sucking ass. Give Feeney a shot. If he sucks the first 2 quarters worse than GVR ever has, put him back in.
And you can do
You know?
that with a player like that. I mean,
Obviously, not with a quarterback,
doing
it's
that
different.
with like a quarterback is way different because the
Yeah.
quarterback's the leader of the team. They're the captain. You know, people like to bring up the whole, like when Eli was benched that one game for Geno Smith, like really you're going to bench Eli? Like, granted, very much overrated, but a Hall of Fame quarterback for Geno
Yeah. By the way,
Smith?
I wonder how many of the 113 people in here were the people who were saying we should have kept Darnold. Darnold is so good, by the way, because he's got benched for
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. What about
PJ Walker. So, by the way, I don't know who was in here because I guarantee there's people in here like, you guys are idiots. Darnold's really good. Look, it's just because of Adam Gase. And we were
what
saying,
about that?
no,
Yeah.
we
Go ahead. Sorry.
a lot of it. Like, what
assholes at the Panthers game wearing Darnold jerseys and stuff. And this one asshole's wearing a Darnold Jets jersey, and then he bought a Panthers Darnold jersey and he waves it up after. He's a Jets fan wearing a Jets cap. Darnold throws a touchdown. He's waving his Darnold Panthers jersey. Like, what are you doing, man? Yeah, I'd love to talk to him right now.
Was terrible before he got hurt. Yeah, some of the Panthers fan after the game, by the way, were telling me that Darnold's now their quarterback and he's legit. I'm like, you'll see. Just give it some time. He was saying that Becton was terrible before he got hurt and he was average. He was, by all metrics and all film, he was like a top 10-ish left tackle last year. So let's not kill that pick.
Wait,
and
someone said
Becton
was terrible.
And can you explain drafting Morgan, Joe? So this is a project I want you to do. And I'll admit this: the Morgan pick was terrible. The Pirine pick, not in love with it. I wasn't. The Zuniga pick, not a big fan of. But if he hits that draft on Becton, even if Mims is a role player, he has Hall. We're gonna see what Ashton Davis is. Let's just eliminate him. So let's say you have Becton, Mims. Clark got injured this year, so that kind of sucks. He hurt his neck, so he didn't get a chance to play. But then you have Huff, Guidry, Hall. That's like 5. That's like 3 or 4 starters and a role player. Go to all the drafts of the teams, whoever you think is great, the Ravens, the Steelers, in their last year, in the last couple of years, and see those teams and see how many of those teams have 4, 5, 6 plus starters. The problem with everybody is they don't get outside their bubble and they think that every single pick from every other team is good, where in reality, the hit rate on draft picks is like 30%, 40%. If you can go into a draft even with 10 picks, if you get 3 starters and 2 role players, that's a great draft. So if he lands on Becton, Hall, Guidry, Huff, and Mims is a role player, and Ashton Davis is a third safety, it's not a great draft class, but it's decent. So yes, the Morgan pick was bad, but let's not act like every single pick in every single draft is supposed to be good. So, and I won't defend him on certain things. The tight end position right now, won't defend him. The quarterback position, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Not going to defend him. The linebacker position, not going to defend him. But to say that the 2020 draft class is the worst people have ever seen, it's terrible and stuff, you have to look at it outside the scope of the Jets and go to the Ravens draft class of the last 5 years and tell me how many of those guys you even know. Like you got to be like, what is it? You would say the draft hit probably is like 30%. If you had 10 picks, 3 starters and 2 role players is actually probably a legitimately good draft compared to every single draft class average the last 10 years in the NFL.
I don't know numbers off the top of my head, but it sounds like it's pretty good. Yeah. I mean, look at any good team across the league, like people like to point to that 2010 or 2011 Seahawks draft class. And, they came away with Russell Wilson in that draft. They came away with Richard Sherman. They came away with Bobby Wagner.
And Cam Chancellor, I think.
Cam might have been that same draft, or maybe he was one draft before. But you're talking like all these like borderline Hall of Fame guys, and like people think like, oh, like that's like a norm, or that can be achieved on a year-in basis. No, that is like a generational type of draft. Like that's not normal. And think about how bad the Seahawks drafts have. Think about how bad the Seahawks first rounds have been. Look at their first round draft picks over like the last 10 years or whatever.
Brutal. They have like barely any players still playing.
Absolutely horrible. You're talking about guys like Jermaine Ifedi. They drafted that dude from Kansas State as a pass rusher, and everybody's like, who the fuck was thinking this guy's going to be a first round pick? Like, on the one hand, you almost want to say like, okay, like you guys are unique and we appreciate that you guys are like independent in your own thinking. You just don't go to group think, but you guys are not hitting on these draft picks.
Everybody applauds the Patriots. Go look at the Patriots drafts the last 5 years. Just go look. I dare you and see how good they are. They're terrible, absolutely terrible drafts. Like there's been numbers out there like 30%, like by rounds. Like even the first round, I think the hit rate is less than 50% on like guys who end up being starters. But moving on, and I'm not even trying to defend Douglas, but to act like every single pick is supposed to hit is just not true. 50-50 is almost elite, or that is elite. If you hit on 50-50 or every other pick in drafts, depending on obviously where they are, that's an elite draft class. Like just based on statistics the last 20 years.
Somebody brought up the 2017 Saints draft. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, there's drafts out there, but we're comparing the 2011 Seahawks class and the 2017 Saints class, which are elite classes. Like we're just talking about being average. I'm talking about that class is average, not. And we still have a long way to development. Like if Mims is what we think he could be, we think he could be a legitimately good role player, if not starter. But obviously, all development's not linear, and he's benched right now for whatever reason. And we have a question, something about Joe, are you going for Batman Begins Ra's al Ghul look? It's just we have no shave October, November, December, so I just don't shave and whatever. I shave some of it, but yeah, it's not great. But it is, I don't know. It's a little bit of a, I don't know. Sharman's asking what exactly is your opinion of the issues with Mike LaFleur? Sharman, I am sorry, but you came in late and we already talked about a lot of LaFleur. So I don't feel like doing that all again. There's plenty of problems. Move on. Bengals fan here. Is there any reason to worry about an upset? Absolutely not. I said in my last show that if they held it to within 30 points, I would be surprised. They are going to get blown out. There is no chance the Jets win that game. Sam Rosenthal, I
almost want to say I'm not scared of the Bengals. I think that they're going to come crashing back down to earth at some point this year. They just
beat the Ravens by 25, didn't they? Or 24?
I know that. Okay, yeah, and the Titans blew out the Chiefs. Okay, and the Titans beat the Bills. Okay,
we are the New York Jets, Kyle,
and we beat the Titans. Okay, I'm not scared of the Bengals per se.
Okay,
even though Joe, they did make the right pick at number Kyle, 5.
You have $100 right now.
I would not make the bet. Zach Wilson's not playing this game.
Okay, this is just let me ask my question. Okay.
Okay.
You have a free $100 bet right now. And they're not a gambling man, but I'll place the bet for you, so it doesn't count. The over/under in this game is what for you to bet on the Jets to cover that spread? The Jets have to be plus what for you to bet on the Jets?
This game with Mike White starting?
$100. What's the over/under?
It's at MetLife. 9 points.
9 points? You bet on for $100 for 9 points?
No, I'm saying I think that's a fair spread. Like,
the actual spread is 10.
The actual spread's 10.
My spread is probably 21 points.
That's ridiculous, Joe. There is no way there would be an actual spread 21. Like in this game, at least.
I have been watching the Jets for years. They're going to get blown out this game.
I'll bet you $100 they don't lose by 21.
21?
21.
We're gonna discuss. We'll discuss. Maybe can I lower it like 17? It's $100. I'm not trying to bet. I hate now I'm betting the Jets get absolutely blown out. Like I want to see a close game. Now it'd be a group for me to get blown out in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I'm not the hugest fan of Mike White. Yeah, we could think about it a little bit.
Okay. Maybe a little bit less things. Maybe like $20. $100. Okay. The Jets have to lose by 3 touchdowns. Like fuck. First drive. I'm like, come on, lose. Is that how I really want to spend my Halloween? Like I'm gonna wake up already on 4 hours of sleep. I'm gonna root for the Jets.
Hey, bro, you already gave kid a $5 candy or $5 for candy. He came ringing your doorbell, selling you some.
We never ate that candy. We never ate that Reese's.
Yeah, you don't know what
they might have drugged
in there.
They might have drugged it. Let's see. All right, then who day I'm out. You just came here to check. Yeah, you're fine.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for the Jets to put up points with Mike White, though.
I'll defend Becton when he plays a full year, which he may never do. Yeah, that and John, that's a legitimate concern because we've talked about that before too. And this is pre him getting injured for the Jets. We said a man that big is going to get injured. It's very rare that they do not because your ligaments and your knees, your ankles are holding so much weight. You're going to be more prone to getting injured. So while his injury in preseason, or the first game of the season wasn't his fault. He got rolled up on by GVR because he's absolute fucking trash. That's not his fault, but at the same time, he's going to get banged up more, and it's going to be harder for him to recover than other guys. So I get that concern with Becton. Like, Becton might be a good player for years and years and years, but a good player who only plays for 10 to 13 games a year. So you're always going to need a good backup tackle with Becton. That's my biggest concern.
And that sucks to have a guy who's missing multiple games year in, year out. I mean, especially when you think about you paying him so much money, but he just can't be on the field. It's like, is it really worth it? But yeah, he's a good player though. I don't know. Somebody was talking metrics about how he was bad like last year. What are you talking about?
All right, let's. Where's our moderators at? There's a guy who's just.
Well, Eagle was
fire Saleh. Like, I don't want.
He's been saying that a lot.
Yeah, can we stop that or block that or do something?
Give the moderator to someone who's in here a lot. Make Sharman or no, Mike's in here.
Why am I
Mike's a moderator. Mike.
Yeah, what the fuck, Mike? You're a moderator. You're supposed to be doing this shit. Let me see. Okay, it's not that big a deal. It's just annoying to see a thousand fire Salehs. It's annoying. Like, we get your point, but people are children, so that's gonna happen. Line is only 10.5. Yeah, Mike, I know that, but I'm saying legitimately for you to bet $100 on the Jets, what would it have to be? Like, what are people's legitimate score prediction this game? Because, like, I think it's got. I think I predict. What did I say in mine? I said in my official score prediction this week, I said, and I might have been being generous. Where is it? I said Bengals 38, Jets 13. I can't see them. I have no idea how they're going to compete in this game. I don't. Continuing on, offensive line, we talked about that. AVT -1 play I thought was good. Fant was okay. Moses had that big block, and he's been okay at best. Whatever. The skill positions, Moore slipped once, had a drop. He needs to focus in on those drops.
He slipped more than once.
He slipped. So he slipped the one time legitimately, and then the next time it looked like I broke it down as like, I don't know if this is supposed to be a speed cut because you know how this offense has a ton of like option routes or a little bit of adjustments to routes, like off coverage, you might cut it a little bit shorter, whatever it may be. And it looked like Mike White expected him to speed cut, and he took like a break step, like a BRAKE step, or a stop step. And then they were just off in timing. And it looks like he was going to like lean out of his break, and he looked at the ball, and like he almost looked like he was like, he tripped because he was like looking to extend for the ball, then realized it wasn't there. Like, it didn't look like a legitimate trip to me. That was just me watching it on, from however far up that was. But that, and then, obviously at the end around, he had the smoke route for a first down. That was nice. I thought Corey Davis, for the most part, had a pretty good game this game. But I don't want to talk about the positives, but whatever. Anything else on the offense you want to touch on? I'm not really sure what to talk about. The offense.
Yeah, I think AVT was pretty positive overall. You said Fant was okay. Yeah, Fant has some highs and lows. Sometimes it can look a little ugly. There was 2 times where he legitimately got like knocked on his ass in pass pro. I'm not talking about him tripping over someone's legs or whatever. Judon put him on his ass one time, and one time it was somebody else, not Uche. I can't remember who the other pass rusher was. But I wasn't super impressed with the offensive line overall. Didn't you say McGovern had a bad game?
He had a couple bad plays, yeah.
Okay.
He has a play
he's been pretty solid overall this season, though, in my opinion.
Minus at the beginning of the season, he's been okay. But again, GVR makes people look so bad that people think whoever's next to them are just bad too. So he's been okay. Like obviously you don't want this to happen because we want to replace the center and guard most likely, and then hopefully bring back Moses or Fant. But like, let's say they draft Evan Neal and then they sign Brandon Sheriff next year, and then you roll back with McGovern at center. Like, that's a really good offensive line. Now, eventually, do I want to replace McGovern? Sure, but he's not a brutally bad offensive lineman like GVR is. Like, he might be average to below average, but you can get by with that. And he has some games where he's legitimately good. So
I just still see so many people keep talking about Linderbaum. Like, okay, like he does look really good, but like the people who keep acting like McGovern is such a huge hole and that we really need to move on to him at all costs. Like, I'm not getting that.
Salmon Jets said that's a good idea to watch the Jets. A little bet on them to lose. Yeah, in a big parlay this week, I put the Jets to lose by that 10, and then I also picked them to lose on Thursday Night Football. So listen, if they win, great, whatever. The Jets win, but if not, hey, part of my parlay. So it is what it is. At this point, I got to make it entertaining somehow to watch these games. So
Read Girth's super chat.
I'm scrolling down right now. Why did Mike White look better than Zach? Because they simplified it for Mike White. For whatever
I don't
reason,
think he did. I don't think he did though.
He did. All this stuff was short. Did you watch the whole game yet?
I did. Why are people saying, like, some people are like, they think some people are on
Mike
Twitter
legitimately good.
Some people are on Twitter like thinking they're all edgy and cool. Be like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but the offense looked better with Mike White than it did with Zach Wilson. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no. But in terms of like just like in rhythm passing, it was just because a lot of his concepts were shorter and easier reads, high lows, in outs. It was really, really simple stuff.
Not to mention, by the time he got in, the Jets were already getting blown out. So the Patriots were, they were covering everything deep. They were giving him all the underneath stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're hitting a guy for a flat route, and he's got some space to work with.
That picks up for 6 yards.
Yeah, they're giving him 5 yards of space. You better hit that throw. Like, what the fuck? Like,
so let's run to the defense relatively quickly because we have some topics to hit on. Girth Brooks said I would put $100 on the Jets to win as long as I get to sleep with Joe Burrow's girlfriend, win or lose.
is she good looking? I don't know what she looks like.
Yeah, she's a slam box. But with that being said, Girth Brooks, like everybody loves that stuff and loves to say like, oh yeah, Mila Kunis or Scarlett Johansson or whoever it is. Until you get in the room and you last for all of 10 seconds and she laughs you out of the room. She's like, that's it. You sure? Like, sweet, you're like, fuck. So I hope you have a plan, like, drink like a fifth of whiskey or something, you need something to help you out for performance reasons. So Girth, with a name like that, I hope you have a backup plan or some plan how to get through that with,
Joe S said McGovern is horrible. Joe S, you need to get some contacts or some glasses or something, man, because he's not horrible.
He has horrible moments, but overall he's not horrible. CD slam box.
Every offensive lineman will have some bad moments. It's just the nature of the beast. You're going against a bunch of insanely athletic, monstrous dudes.
No,
they will get the best of you sometimes.
It's okay. Joe Burrow won't be laughing. Then Mike says best 10 seconds of her life. Yeah. The defense just overall, again, gashed it on the first drive, just run after run after run. I said this in the review, but they had a 1st and 20 early in the game. Then it was a 2nd and 15. And then guess what? They converted that 2nd and 15 on a screen. And then after the Jets scored a touchdown to make it 17-7 later in the game, the Jets then allowed right after that, after they scored, they allowed a 3rd and 10. And then right after the 3rd and 10, they allowed a 10-yard plus or 10+ yard run. And then after that, they stopped them to make it a 3rd and 10 after that. They converted another 3rd and 10 on that same drive. And then later in that drive, the Pats had 3rd and 7. Guess what? They ran a screen for a touchdown. Like, it was so brutal. The first punt came in with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The Pats scored on every drive but 2, and one of those drives was a kneel down. Absolutely brutal. Again,
although Quincy Williams should have had a pick on Mac Jones. It was tough.
Yeah, it hit.
He should have caught that ball, I think.
Are you there yet?
Who are you talking to?
Are you there yet in the game?
Yeah, no, I saw the play. I saw the all 22.
It hit his left hand fingertips. It wasn't really. I think in broadcast it looked a lot worse. It looked like he had 2 hands on it and dropped it. But
it definitely looked more catchable in the broadcast. That's for sure. When you watch the end zone copy of it, it doesn't look as easy to catch.
The lack of adjustments on D, and I get again, the linebackers are the 6th and 7th and 8th string guys at this point right now. But Ulbrich last game, again, I'll say it again, the zone blitzing versus a short passing team with Matt Ryan, not a good idea. This game on 3rd and long versus screen and short pass happy team, you're running blitzes, which are most likely not going to be effective. And they're gashing you. Like, why are you running fucking blitzes versus screen team? It just doesn't make sense. So that was infuriating. And then the same thing with the traps and the draws. That's all they're doing. So you tell the defensive line, hey, stop shooting up the field and let's 2-gap. Like, I get the Jets are this aggressive 4-man front that always is playing balls to the wall. But guess what? When you play the Patriots, you got to run some fucking hybrid fronts and have some guys 2-gap. And they just didn't do it. And they did attack the linebackers a lot, like legitimately, because they got a lot of doubles on the front on the front side of plays and put a lot of emphasis on the linebackers. And the linebackers are absolute shit, obviously minus Mosley and Davis.
And Delshon looked bad in this game.
They all and he had like 2 nice plays in this game. Quincy looked bad. Sherwood looked bad before he went out. Cashman looked bad. Like they're all a bunch of backups. But yeah, it was embarrassing. The defensive plan, the defensive performance, the defensive line. Not a lot. Like Q had a couple of pressures, but other than that, like Fadokasi, not his best game, minus a couple of pressures or a pressure or two.
By the way, what do you think of? There's been a lot, especially in recent weeks. Fadokasi playing 3 and Q playing 1 or 2I. What do you think of that?
I don't think it's terrible. I don't know.
Okay, just
I don't
wanted to see your thoughts. I don't
really feel any way about it, to be completely honest. But yeah, that was the defensive line didn't perform. The linebackers obviously didn't perform. Marcus May minus that 1 missed tackle, I thought played okay.
The only reason I really asked is just because, like, if you're rushing in the B outside shade of the guard, you're less likely to get doubled than if you're rushing in the A gap. And Quinnen is not the biggest dude in the world. So I just wanted to see your thoughts. I don't have any strong opinion or anything like that on either. Just bringing it up because it's something I noticed.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the look and what they're trying to get done on that play. Like if the maybe the center is weak or, I don't really know. I don't really feel strongly about it, but obviously you prefer for Q to be primarily as a 3, but yeah, he's going to flex inside at times, even though you prefer if Q's inside, maybe have Rankins, but Rankins also isn't great in the run game at times. So he's average at best in the run game. What about May?
He was definitely getting moved a lot in this game. I'll say that for sure.
Rankins had no impact this game.
Yeah. And like when I say he was getting moved, like he was really getting moved.
Yeah, May had the big missed tackle, but other than that, he played. I think he actually
missed tackle on which play?
The screen early.
Okay, yeah.
Other than that, though, I thought he played pretty well. And Ashton Davis, he got beat for a touchdown, which really what happened there was his feet did not follow his hands, and he ended up leaning. And he got beat. But other than that, he wasn't brutal this game either. Ashton Davis, like he was okay this game, minus giving up a touchdown, which obviously is never going to be great, but minus that one play, he wasn't bad either. So those guys played okay. The corners, Hall gave up a touchdown. Eccles was tight on some coverage, but gave up a couple of plays. Michael Carter, there was just a few mental lapses with him. One play across the middle on like a dig, it looked like he was expecting like the whole player to jump it. Didn't.
You talking about the one with Gunnar Olszewski?
Sherwood was in the hole, and he was playing like such heavy outside leverage, like opening his hips up. It looks like he expected Sherwood to jump it if it went inside. Gave up an easy first down. And then later in the game too, it looked like it was, I forget if it was zone or man, but he's playing such heavy inside leverage and he's looking at the run action or the play action in the backfield. And a guy just cuts outside of him for a wide open first down. Like there was so many blown coverages. Michael Carter was a part of it. Not his best game to me.
This is probably his worst one to date for sure, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could talk about the Falcons game when he got beat a couple times by Pitts, but you're talking about a 5'10" corner versus Kyle fucking Pitts. Like it's going to happen, so we have to be relative with we have to be realistic with our expectations. So do you guys know if Jared is going to play this week? And if he does he move the needle? Yes, apparently he's going to play. It is trending in that direction, and it 1,000% moves the needle because he's much better than Phillips. He's much better than Cashman. He's much better than Quincy. He's much better than Sherwood. He's much better than Hamza. Even in his shitty Lions tape, he's going to be better than those guys. So yes, he moves the needle, and Mosley's most likely going to play too. So that moves the needle a lot in terms of the defense. David Ober, team young coaches from West Coast, seems like they needed history lesson. Maybe now they know why Finns hate Pats. What do you think about that really quickly? Which, by the way, too, we're gonna get gashed in the run game because we got absolutely gashed by Cordell Patterson and Harris, and now we're gonna play Joe Mixon, who's a legitimately good back. Like, good luck.
I think he's a very underrated back. I definitely think he's one. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
He's underrated, and I think he's one of the best in the league. I'm
Yeah.
not saying the best, but he's definitely very much in that top 5 conversation for sure.
What happened? JFM, he got paid. So Simon or Mateus, with again, with that being said, the last 2 games they've been getting out the ball really, really quick. And I know even this game, like they ran like some plays they had a longer developing plays, but it was play action. So a lot of times the play action, you have to play run to pass. So versus the Falcons, it was a lot of just ball out quick, ball out quick, ball out quick, ball out quick. This game, play action, screens, dump offs to the flat. So your guys aren't going to get there as quickly. But with that being said, he has been a disappointment the last 2 weeks. Well, he hasn't been brutal. Like you try to understand that how they bring attack a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't know the stats, but just compare the Titans game. Like when Tannehill did drop back, and part of it is just because, the nature of how they run their offense, but also part of it is, their receivers just weren't getting uncovered soon enough. Tannehill was holding onto the ball a lot longer than these last 2 games. So that's part of the reason why. But also, and granted though, like the Jets were winning pass rush in those games. In this game and even the Falcons game, which was a huge disappointment because that offensive line is not good. They weren't winning as much, but it's easier to look like you're winning and stuff when you're getting the ball out quick, right? Like they say, like average time snap to throws, like something around like 2.5 seconds or something like that. I would say that in both of these last 2 games, both Matt Ryan and Mac Jones were probably a good deal under 2.5 seconds per pass, whereas Tannehill was probably significantly over that.
Yeah, Bib, and again, a lot of it's play action. That 2.5 seconds on a play action is a lot different than 2.5 seconds on a straight drop back or a gun. Because you're attacking that differently as a defensive lineman. But Dibv says May was awful on that swing pass CD. He takes bad angles all the time. So in his defense on that one, and again,
May does not take bad angles all the time.
That play, I don't know if you watch it, Kyle, but there's like another cross motion, and it looks like he signals to whoever's running across with that motion, and he expects them to change assignments, and then that guy breaks outward, Bolden or whoever it was, and then May like kind of gets stuck in the mud because he doesn't realize that guy didn't take him, and then he realizes, oh shit, that's my guy. They didn't switch with me, and then he takes it. So it looks like there was a miscommunication there. That's just being transparent. He did some hand signal with that guy, like whatever they do for switching assignments, and then broke out like that, whatever. We should have traded up.
And again, we don't know the exact call. I mean, like we could speculate based on coaching line and stuff, and this is how they switch off on these types of guys when this guy goes vertical and this guy's in the flat, et cetera, et cetera. So it's hard to know 100% accuracy, but you can generally speculate. But if you have players that are in the midst of a play having miscommunication problems with one another, it could be just something where it's lack of experience. Like, okay, this guy hasn't had that many snaps in the actual game. But if that's something, and there was a lot in this game. And I know the Jets were banged up. I know that. I'm not stupid. But when you see a lot of miscommunication and it happens over and over and over again, a good deal of that is on coaching.
Yeah, coaching up.
And just teaching, like how well are you actually communicating? What calls need to be made? Are you simplifying? Okay, if this guy goes in the flat, if the number 2 is in the flat quickly, you're going to take them. Like, are you explaining this stuff well to the players? Like, are you?
There were so many blown defenses and blown assignments this game. It's on coaching. Like it is, because it was just very consistent this game. People talking about tight ends and how bad they are. I think Croft at best is an okay number 2, but he's always hurt, so you can't rely on him to be a number 2. Their lack of resources poured into tight end this year, knowing it's a 12 heavy personnel team, is a joke. Like they needed to do something at tight end. They did absolutely nothing. Mateus, I think it's how to say his name. He says May is overrated if you ask me. I agree with you. I've been saying May is overrated for 3 years. Like I have been. I can't help. I just like the pat. Okay. So
I don't think he's looked as good this season as he has in other seasons. So he's been a disappointment to me.
So what do you think about, and we'll talk about some other like topics around it, and we'll get to some of the chatter or whatever. Again, 8:00 hard end time. And by the way, I didn't promote this yet, or not really promote it. Next week, Thursday is a live stream. Most likely, I don't know if I'm going to do a live stream from 5 to like 8:30 or till start time. I don't know if I'm going to do a stream from 6 to 8:30. I don't know, depending on how many alcoholic beverages I have, if I can be convinced to watch some of the game on a live stream. I don't know who would even stick around because I know other places do live stream for games. But I might do like the first half. I might do a first quarter. I might do none of it. So just stay tuned for next week's live stream because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing yet, but we'll see. So,
but okay, never mind. Sorry.
What do you say?
No, nothing important.
Okay. Haven't given up on more, but should we have traded down and picked Freiermuth? No, they had more as a first round talent. He fell to them and they took him. His film was really, really great.
I think in time he's going to be fine.
He led all receivers in the SEC in receiving yards. Like he's been getting open. Like he's running good routes. But again, I mean, this offense is this bad.
So
it's
they're definitely miscasting him. Like, and one of the things you want to do with a rookie too is you want to get him in a comfort zone early. I mean, like they're still like, the game is obviously moving a lot quicker for them. They're playing against a lot smarter players and things like that. So you got to kind of get them in a comfort zone too. And the Jets haven't done enough of that. Like, we're talking about giving him design touches and stuff. Obviously getting your first touchdown, that's going to give him some semblance of confidence, I would say, going forward. But they need to do more to get and in time. Listen, one of Moore's problems has been drop balls. Moore had such solid hands in college.
Yeah, I think he's overthinking it.
Yeah. In time, you're not going to see the drops and stuff. Once he learns the offense more, like he's gaining separation. He's a very smooth route runner. He pulls away from dudes.
Some of his routes this game are real, real nice. I broke like 2 or 3 of them down, like real, real nice.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, definitely. Like he's very, very, very smooth. But and teams are definitely accounting for him for sure. You can tell that the way they're rolling coverage and stuff. But don't worry about Moore. He's going to be fine in time. I'm not worried about him.
Yoshi says, yeah, Joe, we complain about the tight end room all offseason. Gerald Everett, Hunter Henry, Jonathan Smith. There are so many options out there. Yeah, we did. We talk about it a lot. But moving on, what do you think about I don't know exactly what their quotes were, but Rankins and Moses were mad about the Pats running up the score. And what are your thoughts?
I have the same thoughts that you said on Twitter. And you said, okay, do a better job stopping them from doing that.
I literally put in my notes, and excuse my French, don't be offended. Okay. I'm going to if you get offended, click off the stream. In my notes, I literally put Rankins / Moses mad the Pats going to score ? Pussies. That's what I put in my notes. I'm just like, stop being so soft. Now, with that being said, is a shitty move for the Patriots to be throwing the ball up 40 points in the fourth quarter? Yeah, it is a shitty move by the Patriots. Like they can go, eat something.
But why is it a shitty move though? Like these guys. So here's the deal. So some of these guys, they have performance bonuses and stuff based on how many yards they get or how many touchdowns they get in a given season. Why shouldn't they want to get those things? Don't they want to make their fantasy owners happy in a blowout game? Where you can basically
NFL
just pad the stats.
Fantasy owners.
No. But like in a blowout game where we already got the win locked up and stuff. Let's go out there and have fun. Because part of the reason you play the game is to have fun. Putting up points on the board is fun, right? Like you only play the game
though at that point.
True. I mean that's true.
People are Chris saying offended.
That would be. I think that's the only fair argument as to why you shouldn't run up the score. Other than that, I don't see.
CD says Moore reminds you of who on the Jets. I've seen nothing special. Again, CD, there's a 3-hour, 2-hour review out there. Go watch that review and tell me you're not impressed with what Moore did in college. And because he's on the Jets now, like is he in a perfect situation to be thriving right now? Like look at everybody else on the Jets. Look at freaking Denzel Mims, his year 1 with last staff, which we thought was the worst in the world, compared to this staff. Like Mims has done nothing with this staff, but last year when he was in, he was looking solid as hell against the Chargers and the Pats and all those teams. And yeah, Moore is playing outside more than the slot. And I get in this offense, there's more condensed splits and they're tighter. So sometimes the outside is almost like the slot, but at the same time, So, but what do you think about Rankins and Moses being angry about it? Because you agree with me. Like if you want them to not run the score, then do something about it. Maybe score your own points. Maybe stop them. Like, holy shit, novel concept, right?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of them, like grow up guys. I mean, to just play better guys. Like, why do you need to tell your opponents that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, in high school, like we were, pretty competitive and stuff, but Like, dude, when I started dude, so I played in this full contact flag football league after my actual playing days were over. But line of scrimmage in this flag football league I played in like in my 20s. I played on some horrible teams. And I was good every year. I always made the all-star game. But my teams sucked and I got blew out like every week. I don't know how many times we got shut out, but I never complained and said, "Oh, they shouldn't run up the score on us." Like we literally got blown out. I literally I would kick the other team's ass during the game and then say like, "Hey, listen, you guys played good. We suck."
Hey, but then guess what? At that point, if you're getting run up, same thing in football, in high school, or wherever you played. I know you played in college a little bit. You're getting the score run up on you. Guess who's going to start taking some dirty shots? That team who's getting blown out and you're disrespecting them. Guess who's going to get a late hit on the quarterback? Guess who's going to get a late hit on the running back? It's going to happen. You're going to get in some fights. That's what happens. But what do the Jets do? They just let them get walked all over and they didn't do shit about it. So you looked even more soft after the fact, bitching about it when you did nothing on the field to back yourself up. Like, they're so beyond soft mindset. I appreciate you, Bus. I saw your comment. Somebody said something against. See, he said in college. Yeah, in college. That's where a bulk of his film has come. Running routes translates from the NFL to college. It does.
It's the most translatable trait.
The most translatable trait probably out there is route running.
That's one of the reasons why Justin Jefferson's good.
Okay, so what did you think about we talked about the roster construction with it only and Kyle, I said this, and I remember specifically during our 53-man roster prediction, you only predicted 5 linebackers, and I said no, you can't do that. The Jets carried 5 linebackers, and look what freaking happened. Obviously, you can't expect all this shit to happen, but at the same time, there's a reason for that. Cashman is a half a linebacker at best. He's not even a half a linebacker because he doesn't play half a season. If you get 5 games out of Cashman a year, you're lucky. So he's a quarter of a linebacker.
And we're not even talking full games because like almost every game he goes in, he leaves the game at some point.
So the Jets have 4.1 linebackers on our team because Cashman's a 0.1. Like you can't go into the season like that. That's what they did. Now, what do you think about this comment too? So 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, I don't know what the date was, October 15th, 7:59 p.m. Eric Burkhart tweets, May's injury, whatever. He'll be back just in time for the trade deadline.
That's his agent, right?
Yes, Eric Burkhart. Now, a couple days ago, did you see the tweet?
No.
Okay, so
from the agent again.
The agent again. So 2 weeks ago, it was May's coming back just in time for trade. Like, hey, fuck you, Jets, trade my guy, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Translate it. Mm-hmm. 2 days ago, he tweets, in quotes, "I genuinely feel bad or feel terrible for the tagged at NY Jets. These injuries have just gotten ridiculous as they try to grow and build. It's hard enough to be competitive in the NFL when healthy. To be down awesome players like May, Mosley, Becton, Lawson, JD, and now Zach is beyond brutal. Patience is key," with like a little key emoji. So did he just drop to his knees and just stuff his mouth, or what's happening there?
He just seems like he's a clown of an agent, man. If I'm being honest, I don't think other agents kind of present themselves in this way. One of the good young agents seems to be that guy, David Mulughetto, who represents people like Deshaun Watson and Jalen Ramsey and stuff. Like he seems like he really knows what he's doing. But this guy, man, he seems so desperate. And like when you're
looking for a contract now, 2 weeks ago they wanted to get traded. Now they want a contract. Like what is
it? When you're an agent, you got to kind of be like a poker player in a way. You got to know when to bluff and kind of, not seem like you're intimidated and stuff. And you can't now you just seem so desperate. Right. And if you're desperate, that's going to be terrible for negotiations. So this guy seems like he's a complete joke. And this is not the first time he's done this either. He was running his mouth last year too. And then we were having a bad season. So I remember that.
David Hernandez. I'll get some comments. I'm getting some compliments on the cut and a couple from the goatee, which is kind of funny because I think it's trash.
I don't know about the goatee. I don't know about the goatee, but the cut does look nice. So.
All right. Somebody said it's CD again. I disagree with you on a couple things. He said no separation in cover. I don't know if he's talking about in college. CD that Moore had no separation in coverage ever. Who has he beaten? He gets open in zone again. Go watch it and then contest whatever play you want to. Like I don't like just talking generalities. I hate talking like that. He was a great route runner in college. That's what I'm saying. So
they're running him on so many deep routes. So sometimes like he might be separating from the corner that's covering him, But
watch
oftentimes
the
he's just
plays.
running into a safety.
Go watch the 2 or 3 routes that broke down in this game of Moore and tell me he got no separation. That's all you have to do. Go ahead. That's I invite you to. You ran good routes this week. They're out there. I've literally just recorded a 3-hour podcast and at least 20 minutes, or maybe not 20 minutes, 15 minutes of it's more in pros. Okay. Yeah. This week he ran routes and got separation.
And that's the tough thing about doing like a show like this is this is not meant to like really kind of show plays and dissect. I mean, of course we can do it every now and then. I mean, since we keep going back and forth with more, do you want to pull up one of those plays right now?
No, we only have 24 minutes.
Okay. So
subscribe. It's a good reason to, but he runs, there's a lot of good pacing. Like the corner has outside leverage and he races to the outside, but then he doesn't dive outside because he's running an outside route. So, if you're in a race outside and then you're kind of pointing your hips outside, that corner is going to jump to get outside on you. He gets outside, breaks up the field as he's squared up with the corner to hold his leverage, to hold the corner, and then breaks outside. And it's all at different paces. Like it's fast to get up to him, slow as he moves up the field, and then breaks outside quick. Like he had some really nice pacing in his routes, had really nice, I always talk about like getting his drive step under him. I know you know what I'm talking about. Did that really well this game. He had a couple of really good routes this game. So he's creating separation in the pros right now. He's creating separation. And CD, I know you watch the live stream. I don't think you watch the film shows. Because he's creating separation. We're not using Moore correctly, I feel, for the kid. Yeah, Moore is talented. Like people just because, again, the problem with people is, I'm not saying anybody in here, maybe, probably some, you type in stats, he's not having stats, he's bad. Receiver is a position that relies heavily on not only your quarterback, but also your offensive coordinator. So if he's not getting targeted, if he's not one of the primary reads and he's not getting targeted, but he's open, how is that Moore's fault? And I'm not saying he's not Devontae Adams right now, but he's getting open, legitimately getting open. So moving on, the floor don't call slants. Yeah, that's true. Use more on bubble.
Dude, I really want to see them put him in the backfield a couple times this game. I'm saying, and look at what the Falcons did with Cordell Patterson.
Where is it relative to the QB's read? What does that matter if he's getting open? Like you're dude. I remember. Never mind. Okay, continue. Good.
Yeah. So I would love to see more like with like 10 snaps in the backfield this game. And it doesn't have to be, I'm not saying 10 carries, not at all, not anywhere close to that. Give him a couple carries, but also just how many times did Ty Johnson, go in the flat this game? So like, okay, imagine, and Ty Johnson, when he actually caught the ball, he did a pretty fine job a couple times turning up and running and get the first down. But imagine Elijah Moore, because so when you catch a flat route, like on like a swing pass or whatever, it's all about making that quick catch, turning, transitioning, and running, and then getting yak. Elijah Moore was so good at that in college, so just doing a couple of those with him, I'd love to see that. And it's going to keep the defense on their toes.
And he got a first down and a touchdown,
because he can run with the ball if you're giving him a handoff. He did it in college. It's a new look that the defense doesn't have film on. They haven't seen yet this year. You got to do something to get things going.
He keeps falling. He slipped once. The other time, I think he was going to dive for a ball, and he realized it was going out of bounds, and he couldn't dive for it, so he pulled up. Like,
and the one play late in the game, it was a bad pass by Mike White where he hung the ball too far inside.
I forget what play you're talking about, but yeah, don't be nervous about Elijah Moore. That's for sure. So Marcus May, and by the way, like I talked about it last week with Nania, but like really quickly, like would you trade, like, because the trade deadline is coming before our next stream, or actually before my next stream as well. So would you trade Crowder? Would you trade May? Would you trade for anybody, or what?
I would not trade Crowder. I would trade May.
I asked Nania last week because Crowder is better than people realize he is. Again, don't type in a stat, whatever. He's a solid slot receiver in the NFL. Do you look to extend him? He's only 29 years old, or he's going to be 28, turning 29. Or what do you do with him?
I wouldn't look to extend him yet, because I want to see more what the offense looks like with Cole. And I also want to see, like, okay, so your offense clearly has not worked yet this year. Not to say that Moore is going to be a full-time slot receiver, because clearly he's not. One of the things you love about the kid is you can move him pretty much anywhere and he could be effective, but we want to see more in the slot more often. So, based on how things go the rest of this year, maybe Crowder isn't the best for the offense going forward at the price tag, which he's going to command.
Now, what about
So I would not extend him, but I would not get rid of him because he's going to be, I think, very important for Zach's development going forward.
Exactly. Okay, so I completely agree in terms of you don't trade away pieces on offense because Zach needs all the help he can get. Again, he's already lacking help at right guard and tight end severely, so it's not get rid of a really reliable weapon for him. Like you talk about, Berrios is just as good. He's not. That deep ball in the Titans game, he doesn't catch that ball. He probably drops it. Crowder's routes are much better. His feel for routes are much better. Him getting open when Zach is scrambling, much better. He's a lot better than Berrios. But now, with that being said, do you trade Marcus May, and what do you kind of feel like you'd accept? Like, what's the lowest offer you take from Marcus May at this point?
Yeah, I definitely would be willing to trade May. I
would
definitely not take lower than a fifth, but I almost feel like a fifth, like
yeah.
Part of me would like have a little gross feeling about getting a fifth for him. But then again, I mean, it seems like it's a lost season now. So it's like, if he's going to walk anyway, at least we got something for him.
Or do you tag him again? And then you pay him basically what about 23 million over 2 years?
Right now, there's no way I'm thinking about tagging him again because it's okay. He got the DUI. Okay. I can overlook that. The agent's running his mouth. I could overlook that too, but that's a pain in the ass too. But he just has not looked as good in this defense so far. So
Jets gang says tight end for May. Who though?
Yeah, who? It takes two to tango, and who wants to get rid of?
And a lot of people talk about OJ Howard, but OJ Howard has done nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him, and he tore his Achilles last year too. So like,
yeah, he's done absolutely nothing. So May for a fifth, the lowest. I think they can get a fourth. But it would be a low fourth because it's going to be from like a playoff team. So you're talking like the Bucks or the Chiefs, one of those teams, but maybe not the Chiefs anymore because they just got blown out versus the Titans 27-3. Maybe they're on a playoff team.
Yeah, but Sorensen's a liability though.
For who?
The Chiefs. Like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but maybe the Chiefs, maybe the Bucks, like maybe one of those teams. I feel like, and this is giving Douglas credit in some sense because he's gotten a lot of value for his trades. So with everything he's gotten for these guys, Darnold for a 2, 4, and a 6, and getting Herndon for a fourth, and getting all these guys, could he get a fourth for May? A low fourth? I think he could, and I would do it because May clearly is not going to be back. Most likely not going to be back. I'm not sure now with his agent, dropping to his knees for the Jets, but maybe they're begging for a contract now after this whole DWI thing. Nonetheless, I would trade him for like a fourth. I hope they do. I don't think it's a long-term plan.
Yoshi said something interesting. He said May for Evan Ingram. That's actually interesting because Evan Ingram is talented.
The only thing with
the
Ingram
problem is he's always hurt. He can't block.
Yeah, he can't block, and that's important in the system. So
what's the point of having a tight end if you can't block? Like
it's just a big slot receiver.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, it's
we already have lightweight receiver, or we already have athletic dudes that can catch the ball and do some acrobatic things and stuff, but they're smaller bodies, so you don't want to put them in line all the time. So
yeah, in terms of tight ends, like so we've never seen a good quarterback, but like we've had good running backs, we've had the Fanekas and the Nick Mangolds, we've had some okay receivers, like we had Brandon Marsh, like 1,500 yards, multiple, a lot of scores that year. We've had good linebackers. Touchdowns, yeah. We've had good safeties. We've had, obviously great corner. We've had some good defensive linemen. We haven't really had an outside line, like a true like D-end outside linebacker in years and years. We haven't had a quarterback. And our tight end position, dude, like since I've been watching football, like Schuler was in like the 90s, right? So I wasn't even watching when he was around.
Schuler, wasn't he? What was he, the 90s? I thought he was earlier than that.
Early 80s, maybe.
I'm not the best with Jets history. I know I'm a history teacher, 80s. But someone in the chat will know.
Nonetheless, I didn't watch him. So probably the two best tight ends, and in this room, if you watch it, I could be wrong, getting off the top of my dome. The last 20 years that I've been watching, and again, I'm only 28, so I was watching when I was 8, but like again, don't really know what, like Dustin Keller and Chris Baker. Like our best tight ends like we've ever had. Like we've never had good tight ends.
And again, even with Keller, like he wasn't a very good blocker
David
either.
Albert says 80s. Okay, so yeah. What about the tight end from the Browns? David Njoku? Yeah, I would have to look more into it. Like, yeah, maybe. I don't really know his health status, what he's been doing, but Dustin Keller was a good tight end. But the problem was his career was cut short because of injuries. And then I don't know if we traded him or what the hell happened with him. But yeah, no, Dustin Keller has been the best one in the last 20 years. That was short-lived. And then beyond that, it was Chris Baker, and he was okay. And then after him, what is it? Jeff Cumberland? Is it Jeff Cumberland? Probably.
His name came to mind. Yeah. It's certainly not Chris Herndon.
So you have Keller, you have Chris Baker is the third best Jeff Cumberland. I'm legitimately not being a dick. Who was the third best in the last 2 decades?
It's hard to think of someone different at the moment.
Jeff fucking Cumberland. That's our third best.
It's definitely not Ryan Griffin.
The definition of a jag.
Someone said Jay Samara. That's funny.
No, Winslow was not. Kyle Brady. This was that was not a lot.
Well, that's definitely before our time.
That was late 90s, really early 2000s, or mid 90s, right? Kyle Brady?
Yeah, I mean, there was the SAP draft, and yeah, I mean that was obviously sometime in the 90s. So, and no, Kyle Brady was only with the Jets for a couple of years.
Kellen Winslow was okay when he was here for that 1 year, but it's like 1 year. And people talking about Ellison Safarian-Jenkins, he was here for like 1 year too, and then he left. It's like you can't really consider him like great for the Jets. But yeah, I would say ASJ is probably 3 just for a season. Winslow's still in jail. Is he still in jail? Was it that serious? What did he get convicted of? Anthony Beck. Yeah, we're talking about the last 20 years. Is he still in jail? I know he got caught, spanking.
No, that's not why he's in jail. I don't think. I think it's something more serious.
He wasn't within like 200 yards of the school or something like that.
No, wasn't it a Target parking lot?
It could still be next to the school, and then it's like technically, whatever. I don't know what the state would call it, but you get some cuffs thrown on you. I know that for sure. But
I want to know what it is now. I feel like it was something more serious.
And you think about
unleash
it too,
Kenny Yeboah. Stop it,
dude. He has to walk into a bar and just say, "I'm an NFL player," and girls will throw themselves at him. Legitimately, like I remember going to Bar A, which I hate Bar A now, being 28. But like the Devils, like backup goalie came in.
I don't know if it's that easy, Joe. Once you're washed up,
people flocked the backup goalie for the Devils. If you said, "Hey, I'm a tight end for the Jets,"
but that's when he's currently on the team, though. Like when you're off the team,
was he still on the team?
You're a has-been. Yeah, he probably was when the Target thing happened. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say
a
lot easier for him than you and I, or he's in jail.
And I think if I remember correctly, and I only read like a headline, it was like multiple women type of thing. It kind of seemed like it was like a Darren Sharper type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on. I don't want to talk about Kellen Winslow's rape allegations, or not even allegations now. I guess they're.
And we couldn't pull the play because we had to talk about Kellen Winslow.
Bar A is great. Chris, I'm not to put you in a box, but I'm assuming you're in your early 20s, because I don't like going to bars anymore and having to walk around with my beers like this and get bumped, and now my beer's on my shirt, now it's on my shoes. And then you have these freaking like wannabe Guidos with their tank tops on with their gold chains who want to fight everybody with their slick back hair. Like, yo, what up, bro? I'm like, okay, let's fucking stop here. I'd rather be in my backyard with a couple of friends by a fire drinking beers. That's the point in life I'm at. I don't want to be walking around like this and fighting over people to get beers. That's just, I have a couple of local spots, a little bit like there's a place by me called Red Rock that I like to go. It's a little bit more like there's some music. It's, people go there for fights. It's pretty busy, but people aren't like that there. Or I'll go to like a place by me where like you can shoot pool and stuff like that, or by the fire. But I don't like to go to bars where I'm shoulder to shoulder, dick to butt everywhere. I just can't. I can't do that for 6 hours. I just can't.
This show is turning into a shit show, just like the Jets last 2 games.
We're allowed to be. We're trying. We're here. We're showing up. We're better than the Jets right now. That's DJs with the Guidos. Yeah, they trickle over. Hey, what's wrong with Guidos? Listen, I'm from Jersey. Ronnie over here has slick back hair, all this shit. We're from Jersey, but the guy.
Hey, and I'm 63% Italian too.
If you're the Guido who tries to be tough, wearing a wife beater out with gold chains, slick back hair, and you're shooting up with roids and think you're fucking awesome, yeah, I don't like you. I'm sorry, I don't like that shit. Ronnie from Jersey Shore, I don't like you. Paulie, I don't like you. I don't like those type of guys. You're a bunch of fucking losers. Like, I'm sorry. It is what it is, But hey, if I just alienated 5 people out of 114, you might be a cool Guido. Maybe I have to learn, but I haven't met anybody. I'm like, yeah, I want to hang out with that guy. Okay, moving on.
So Joe, if your wife asked you to go tanning, for your wedding, would you do it?
No, absolutely fucking not. I'll bring her in here right now. No,
I think she could convince you.
no. Kyle,
Joe, you love
Kyle.
her. I know you do. I heard the way you talk about her. If she told you to go tanning for your wedding, you would do it.
Hold on. Okay, continue. I'll text her right now and say.
Oh, okay. Again, though, this is contingent upon her really trying to persuade you that that's what she really wants. Anyway, let's see. McGreevy truck stop, happy hour. Yeah, I don't really drink, so I don't know these places and stuff.
Hold on.
But I guess there's nothing really good much to talk about with the Jets. So
We're handling the Flacco thing in a second. Hold on.
Okay. Wow, I don't want dead silence, so I'll just read some of the comments. Vinny is the cool one. I guess you guys are talking about Jersey Shore. I never really watched that show. Someone said racist. Why you got to put but my guy on the spot? What guy? Tommy or go tanning Joe. I'll be transparent. I've been tanning before, long time ago, but I have.
Okay. I just called her, and it's not on here. She's gonna text me what she said, but even on the thing, she's like, no, I'm not going tanning for my wedding.
No. I'm not saying that she would want you to go tanning.
No, I wouldn't. I would not do that. I'm telling you right now, I would not do that. You cannot make me do that. Absolutely not. I'll do the laundry.
Why? Because it just makes you think like you're from the Jersey.
I am a male. I don't need the tan. I'm not. It's not like I'm pale. Like I'm olivey. Like I don't need the tan.
Tons of males like to get a tan on. They might not like going in a tanning bed, but they like getting a tan at the beach.
Okay, this doesn't even matter because it's about it. It's not like a crazy conversation. She's talking about voting. I'm saying remember I'm doing the stream until 8. I don't know if you can read it backwards.
I can read it.
Doing the stream, got it. I'm going to vote, and then said no. You'd rather the Jets lose every game until you die. That's about me going tanning. It's not happening. I'm telling you right now. Just like she's trying to convince me and her dad. Like I don't know if it's her or dad. No, like somebody's like talking about like because he like files his nails and like does like gets off the cuticles. Wouldn't catch me dead doing that. It's just not gonna happen.
Wait, why does he do that?
Like manicures and stuff like that. It's not happening. It's not happening. You're pale. Yeah. Yo, Tommy, it's this light. Watch, ready? Let's see if the light helps. Now it's different, but that light is so freaking bright. It's this white crazy light. Orange, white, blue.
He's pretty pale anyway. You see him in person, he's a little pale.
I hate everybody. Are we talking about bars in here? We have to talk about something else. Who y'all got winning the game tonight? Who's playing? The Packers and the Cardinals? Isn't Devontae Adams out? Cardinals.
I know JJ Watt's not playing.
Cardinals. Well, so
the Packers. I'll say the Packers.
That went tanning. I didn't tan. Whoa, Asian tanning, both bad. For your health. Don't do it, Joe. I'm not doing it, Brandon. Okay, so Italian males. I have Italian in me, but I'm not a Guido and all this stuff. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, Joe, you got something against Italians, man.
I do not like Guidos who try to go to bars and fight. You have no idea how many bars I've been to, both as a patron of the bar and as a police officer, and have had to deal with those people who want to fight.
I know the types. I can't
do it. And it's a lot of them.
Yep. I know.
It is what it is. Injuries, Sherwood out for a year. Quincy's out with a concussion. Mosley and Davis are coming back. Big Joe, what's up? Socrates. You're late, Socrates, but what's up? This stream has run off the run. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not shaving my okay.
Someone keeps talking about Kyle Brady. They just keep talking. They can't stop talking about Kyle Brady.
Joe Flacco trade. To be simple, I was very, very angry about it because, again, you had all offseason to bring in a quarterback. They said they had faith in Mike White, which obviously they didn't, because then they run with their tail tucked between their legs and trade a conditional 5th-round pick that could be a 6th-round pick, whatever it is, for Joe Flacco. When you had all offseason, which we were begging for them to bring in a mentor to Zach Wilson and just a backup in general, now you're bringing in a quarterback for a draft pick, for a quarterback who in the past has said he's not a mentor to backup quarterbacks. He still wants to start. So you're bringing the worst mentor that you possibly can have. And now he has to learn the system. I know he's played under Kubiak and stuff, so he has a familiarity with it, but you're not like why not do this in June? It makes no sense. So their plan literally going into the season was, hey,
when did Flacco say that comment about he still wants to start? Didn't he say that back in his Denver days?
I don't remember, so
Joe, I think he said that back in Denver, and that's going back a couple of years now. And at that point in his career, like
And apparently,
he just got released.
He did not want to resign with the Jets because they knew they're drafting a quarterback high and then they're going to start him. So he went to the Eagles where maybe he thought he can, I don't know, maybe beat out Hurts or whatever.
Well, that makes sense. But he's in the position now where if he wants to continue his career, listen, he was playing late. He played basically the whole 4th preseason game. He's in the position now where he knows in his career, all right, if I want to keep playing in the NFL, I got to mentor someone young. So even if I don't want to, he has to accept that he's no longer.
But how much good mentoring are you doing if you don't want to do it?
Well, then fucking retire.
He wants to play. He's still making his money. Nonetheless,
so if he's on the roster, which he is, he's on the Jets now.
Why not sign Beathard? Why not sign Hoyer? Why not sign Mullen? Why not trade for freaking
I'm not saying
Foles at that point?
I get they definitely fucked up in the offseason.
Why not bring back McCown from retirement?
They definitely fucked up in the offseason for sure. We talked about that ad nauseum, but I think, and I don't like the fact that they had to give up that high of a draft pick, but there's a part of me that was still kind of happy when I did see it, because I'm happy that he's on the roster now to help mentor. And if he does need a play, I think he's better than Mike White.
So was their plan?
I know he can push the ball downfield. I don't know that Mike White can push the ball downfield. No, he cannot.
No, his arm is not good. And his throw mechanics are bad too. Like he goes on his toes and lean back when you throw. It's not good throw mechanics. But in general, so was Joe Douglas' plan?
And both of his picks were really ugly too.
Was his plan? Yeah, the one was an overthrow. The one was way too late on a route that was absolutely crowded.
Yeah. Was
his plan go into the season and pray to God that Zach Wilson doesn't get injured? Was that his plan for backup quarterback? So you're bringing.
Yeah, he had no plan
again. But you're an NFL GM,
and
this is your only job. This is the only thing you think about. And we talked on the live stream for months. So so you had no plan for your backup quarterback if you got injured, because clearly you didn't have enough faith in Mike White. And with all that being said, again, rookie head coach, rookie OC. We talked about the benefits of a backup quarterback in the actual meeting room and with him on the field, and they never did it. It's just, dude, I was so mad about it. I got, Joe just got disinvited from the Columbus Day parade. Somebody's talking about Parkey's. Parkey's was solid back in the day. I don't know what you're talking about. Bill, I'm a fun guy when I can pound them. So we definitely have some fun,
Columbus was born in Italy, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Clearly you don't like
Didn't
Italians.
Columbus Day already passed?
Yes. Well,
yeah, like a couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah,
I think so. The Flack comment was very recently. He said that after he was signed to the Eagles and someone asked him about mentoring Jalen Hurts. So there you go.
Wait, he said that recently?
Dude, just like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was saying the same shit in 2015 when he was here. Like, that's not a guy you want to bring in to mentor your.
Yeah, but supposedly he was pretty good with mentoring Tua, though.
Based on whatever. Nonetheless,
based on my buddy Travis Wingfield. I mean,
but he's a mouthpiece for the Dolphins now. Is he going to be?
Well, he is, but you know.
Yeah. Nonetheless,
but here's what I noticed about those guys that work for the team. Some are like pure propagandists. Others are like, okay, if something's really bad, notice how Travis Wingfield is not hyping up Austin Jackson, that first round draft pick, 18th overall, Miami off, because there's no way you can carry water for that dude. He sucks. But Travis will still kind of praise Tua though, because there's, I guess, at least some things to be optimistic about there.
The fact that he's young. I don't know. Yeah, nonetheless, I bugged out about the Flacco thing on my stream or on the film show, but it's an absolute joke. I'm past the point of getting super angry. But the fact that they wasted a draft pick, it's not about, because people will push us off it's just a 6th round pick. It's a 6th round pick that you threw.
Antonio Brown was a 6th round pick.
Dude, not even him. Brandon Eccles, who was showing he could be a legitimately solid 4th or 5th corner, is a 6th round pick. And it's not even about
young and cheap.
It's not even about the 6th round pick. It's about the process that you completely threw a pick in the garbage because you had no fucking plan in the offseason when you were sitting there with your thumb up your ass for 7 months. Why not bring it back a quarterback then? It makes no sense to not do that all offseason. It was a joke. We said it was a joke. And now they just wasted a pick because of that joke that we realized, that the 100 people in here realized 7 months ago. So why did it take them so long to do this? They clearly didn't have faith in Mike White. Clearly. So what was the plan? It's a joke, an absolute joke that this happened.
And clearly they don't have no faith in Josh Johnson.
Yeah. You look Irish if you ask me. I am Irish too. I'm a mutt. But Kyle, Bengals.
Aren't you
quick thoughts.
mostly French?
No, Irish, Italian, French, Portuguese, some other bullshit. I forget.
I thought you said you're mostly French though.
No, what are you fucking crazy? No, my last name is French.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
That's why. Yeah, it's Blewett. It's not Blewett. It's Blewett. If you want to address me properly, you call me Blewett, I won't respond. But hey, Blewett, I'm like, oh yeah, there you go. Got it. All right. So Bengals again. It's 8:00. I have an 8:00 hard end time. So I appreciate everybody watching. But Kyle, really quick thoughts on the Bengals. I said 36-13 or something. I forget exactly what I said, but they're going to get blown out.
Yeah, the Bengals are definitely going to win this game convincingly. I just don't think it's going to be as big as a blowout as you're saying.
He's already feeling the positivity after Sunday. You're watching Sunday. We just got beat 41 by the 2-4 Pats.
Yeah, but again, though, this guy Zach Taylor, I don't think he's it as a coach. I could see him laying a stinker after a big win. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But Mike White,
score prediction, and then we're out.
I'll say 28 Bengals, 17 Jets.
Oh my God. Okay. I forgot what I said last time. Mike White's playing. They just scored 41 on the Ravens. The final score is going to be 42-13.
Okay.
Jets. No, I'm kidding. All right. See you guys later. We'll be back for the stream next week. Again, stay tuned because I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be, what time, 5:00, 6:00 game time. I have no idea. But we will see you guys later.
All right. Peace.